formed against me shall prosper. Oh, it won't work.
No weapon
formed against me. Give me that ad-lib again.
No weapon.
One more time.
No weapon.
One more time.
No weapon.
Bitch. Who the fuck y'all hoes think?
The facts are back.
So who the fuck y'all hoes think it was, bitch, or what time of day it was? Okay.
You gotta understand that this is a community-based project. We're not getting any funding from the government. I seen bitches out there talking about, wait till Trump hears about this. Trump can suck my dick.
I gotta wait till Tuesday. Okay. Oh my God. I just need to keep hearing that right there. Hey, you are awesomely awesome. And you're the best. You're the best blessed. Just hell. I can't even sound, you know what to say.
Had a vision for 20 in the morning, thinking of my little sister said morning. Struggling with realities, no maladies, holidays ain't the same, everything's changed. No Bowie, no Prince, and no Michael, no Andre Crouch and the Disciples, no Walter, Edwin, or Derek Olney, no Whitney, no George Michael. Toys R Us gone bankrupt. Damn, they Guitar City went bankrupt. Everything from my childhood's missing, man. Man, I swear it's such a fucked up feeling, man. I'm not mad, it's a simple observation. And I'm not sad, but it's not a celebration. I'm just trying to put the pieces back together, man. Everything's falling through my fingers like sand. It seems a tighter that I'm gripping. It seems more that I am slipping. I feel like I lost everything I love. And where's this alleged agape love? In churches ain't the same. Gospel music just ain't the same. R&B it just ain't the same. But y'all keep telling me it's the same. But I ain't feeling nothing, damn it. And I don't wanna reach up and grab it. Shots fired, get to ducking. Always knew they were after something. This ain't no future, bring it frontin'. And y'all know you still out here fool. I'm not a baby, bro, I'm grown. Don't leave me standing out here alone. That's why I wrote this song. Because I know I'm not alone. What are we out here doing? What are we out here saying? People don't care no more. So fuck it, I don't care no more. If this is too much for you to handle, I was always too much to handle. There ain't nothing new about me. You don't want authenticity. You don't want sincerity. 2020 brought me clarity. Now I see who you really are. No I took a hit for the team. Took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free, free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity. I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I still live through technology. The sun will start shining. Blood, tears of pain, and tears of pain, and tears of pain, and a dash of struggle. Just be patient. Your destiny will manifest. Yes, Bubbles in the city.
What is go? We're on y'all. What is go? We're on y'all. What is go? When on y'all. What is up? What is up? It's your dude BubzDaGawd here with yet another live. Hope everybody is doing well on this Saturday, which is supposedly supposed to be a King's Day. Girl, but what's a king to a god, bitch? No shade. We got Medusa in the building. What's going on, Medusa? What's going on? Glad to have you in the building. We got Queen Stevie in the building. What's going on, Queen? Make sure y'all go over and support her by subscribing to her channel, as well as checking her out on Instagram. Homegirl be doing interviews every day. All types of people, all walks of life. The main thing is that we're all human. So again, shout out to her for continuing to show what humanity looks like despite the fucking regime that's happening in this bitch, okay? And not happening, but happening in this bitch, okay? But anyway, y'all, what's going on? It's your dude BubzDaGawd here. Is this the right one, girl? Is this the right one? I think it's this one. Is it this one? Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Hey. What's going on, fam? It's BubzDaGawd. Hope y'all are having a pretty cool Saturday afternoon. Decided to come through with a live because, again, y'all, I've been working on this project. As far as the Prelude trailers, I'm still waiting on my contact lenses to come in. Hopefully they'll be in sometime next week, because I'm trying to get the beginning of this project done. If I can just get chapter 1 out, no shade, for this month, I will be happy, because it's Pride Month. I also understand that it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I welcome that as well, because again, it's about inclusion. Okay, you got Father's Day, so I'm glad that with all this information for some of us, we can have these real ass conversations of healing. Okay? I'm just gonna do my part for that. It some kind of threw me off for a second because I got all my shit over here, so y'all please forgive me, okay? But just be on the lookout for the project. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and yeah, be on the lookout. I'm gonna drop that shit, okay? I need you to be in tune with me, okay? I need y'all to listen, be aware. And speaking of awareness in the project, we got the Black Anarchist podcast in the building. Make sure y'all go ahead and purchase his book, Blame It on the Dress, The Manufacturing of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity, by clicking the link in the description box below. Dope ass read. It is a signpost to the truth. All of us are going to find the truth for ourselves uniquely by loving ourselves. But that book right there is a way to that. I know for some Christians it's the Bible, but that's not the only book. Because if we're talking about something that is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, or whatever the hell, all these different words, girl, if it's something that's everywhere all at one time, girl, there has to be different expressions and variations of that. And instead of being upset about other people expressing their freedom, maybe you should get some of your own. But Christianity has definitely done its big one, as you will see with the video that I'm going to bring in this live. But again, make sure y'all subscribe to the Black Anarchist Podcast. Dope ass individual, thinks outside the box. Also is another radical militant individual, which I appreciate, because girl, you can only play with motherfuckers so many times before it's time for us to get real. No shade. So make sure y'all go ahead and check him out. Y'all please forgive me. My allergies going on, so I'm gonna sound a little nasally, so y'all please forgive me. Also, I'm not endorsed by these motherfuckers, at least not yet. But this live is brought to you by Good Life Infusions, girl. Okay, this is a hybrid that is balanced. I am more so of a sativa individual, more so than anything, but I do love a good balance, because life is all about what? Balancing. So this is a hybrid, a balanced one, and it's called Blue Raspberry. What the people be doing on them shows and shit, girl? Oh, I can't even see it because it's green. Damn, can't even see it, girl. But it's good life, though. This motherfucker has what? 40% THC. Oh, this is an infused one. No shade, girl. They had a deal, and I was like, come through, okay? So that's gonna be the strain for this live. If you partake of the herb, let me know down below. What strain are you smoking on? What edible are you eating on, girl? Do you like sativa? Do you like indica? Do you like hybrids? Bitch, what do you like? Let me know so I can educate myself. Because one thing I'm gonna always love, girl, I don't give a fuck what nobody says, girl, is weed. Because mother marijuana, notice I said mother. Mother marijuana helped to change my life. And I'm gonna always be at her feet. That is the only woman, that's the only female that I will allow to fully top me, and I will become a power bottom in her presence, is Mother Marijuana. So shout out to her. But before we get into the live, you know we gotta be smart about this stuff, okay? 1 second. Boom. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All the videos, songs, images, and graphics used in this live belong to their respective owners, and BubzDaGawd does not claim any right over them. And lastly, but definitely not least, okay, shout out to all of the new subscribers. We have went from like 850 something to now, at this point in time, as far as this live, 900 and I think 14, bitch. Hold on. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 913. Okay, I'm speaking in future tense, bitch. But we are currently at 913 subscribers, y'all. We are so close to 1K. My birthday is next Sunday, the 22nd. I'll be 34 years old. So if you want to bless a leprechaun, girl, and put a little bit of coins in my pot of gold, girl, you can definitely do that by hitting that Cash App, $BubzDaGawd. If you Cash App me during this live, I'm not going to be able to see it because I'm using my actual phone as a webcam and it's on Do Not Disturb. So if you do send something, I'll definitely make a post about it afterwards. But yes, we're getting everything that the universe has for us, okay? And the beautiful part about it is that I know it's gonna happen because finally I'm participating in my own shit instead of being a slave like a lot of Christians are. No shade, no shade, no shade, no shade. Now I am going to say this. My content going forward, because I'm going through my own individual ego deaths and transformations in my own life, my content is going to reflect that. Where we are right now in this current climate is because of fear and ignorance. And when you do your motherfucking research, what the sad part about this whole situation is that there is a cycle, a history, a continuation, if you will, of the same shit. The video that we're going to listen to, brought by a YouTuber that is dope as fuck. I want y'all to subscribe to him, please. It's a channel called Believe It or Not. Believe It or Not. I want y'all to go over there and check them out. Where we're going to use Their content today, again, fair use and acting. Make sure you go subscribe to him. Where the video is going to be talking to parents about dealing with queer children who also happen to be Christian. And the fact that we are still having the same motherfucking conversations. Bro, something is wrong. Bro, sis, something the fuck is wrong with us. We keep allowing this to happen. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and it just gave me, again, another reminder of where the fuck we are in this world, especially in this climate. And every generation is always saying the same fucking thing. Oh, well, the next generation will do it. The next generation will do it. Oh, the next one will do it. It'll never happen in our lifetime. It'll, all this other type of shit. But when the generation manifests that actually does the shit that a lot of y'all are too fucking broken and afraid to face. And that's for all of us. Once your children, the ones who come into this world not knowing the ways of the world or the fears of the world, come in fearless because they are actually closer to source, to God, to universe than us because we lost our way. And certain motherfuckers have controlled the narrative to make their bread off of that. But when that generation finally comes in, now y'all got a problem with them. Now it's an issue. Now I'm the daddy and I'm grown. And for some of you motherfuckers who are parents, that y'all parents by title only. Now, no shade. I am thankful and I'm grateful for the parents that I have in my life. And the parents that I have in my life don't have to be an anomaly. It doesn't have to be something that's rare. It can literally manifest. But it's a bunch of bitch-ass, hoe-ass, fucked-out-ass, fear-based ass individuals who keep projecting their shit onto children. And you wonder why we keep having the same conversations. Well, we are in the age of Aquarius, which means, guess what, baby? It doesn't fucking matter. What you feel, what you think, what you believe. All of us about to know what it feels like to be a nigger. All of us about to know what it feels like to be a fagate. And now America is waking up to that. And instead of America saying, you know what? Wow, this is how we are. Instead of having a mirror experience to look in the fucking mirror and see what the fuck is there, whether it's something you like or you don't like, what is there? Instead of just doing that, dealing with every guilt, trauma has happened in your past, in your life that you still hold on to, and organized religion just operated like the pharmaceutical company, bitch, give you something to deal with your shit, never to heal your shit. Girl, let me shut up. What's going on, Kimani's Way? Glad to have you in the building. And the views kind of dropped, so that's good because, again, I'm talking to motherfuckers who really want to heal some shit. Just because some of y'all believe it can't happen or it's not possible does not mean that it's not possible. And on top of that, this is Pride Month, bitch. And since we are in Trump's America, girl, we gonna talk all of our shit because y'all trying to eradicate us anyway. And if there's another thing we should learn from history is that, bitch, you can't, because God, source, universe, consciousness, before your Bible came into existence, girl, queerness was a part of that experience. And for you melanated individuals who are so Pan-African and Hotep and all about the black family, girl, y'all really practice and teach the whole ideology of if there's something you want to hide from a nigga, put it in a book. There are some of us as black people who educated ourselves about the fucking system because the system did not want us to be educated. And if it's one nigga that they are definitely afraid of, it is a educated one, which means you have to be open-minded. The same Pan-African niggas who uplift Malcolm X and shit didn't realize that Malcolm X learned some shit from motherfuckers who wasn't even African. Or at least the African you believe. These are the same people who will continue to give the Dr. Umar Johnson girl, and the church has not been manifested. It's like the same way they do in the church girl. We're going to give to the building fund, ain't put a doorknob on the bitch yet. But Pastor got a new car. Girl, we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into all that. So again, this video for this live is going to be about coming out. How there are Christian parents who have queer children and are actually presented with the opportunity to actually walk in Christ. And instead of organized religion being the example of that, you see, if you were to do that, if you were to teach your child, if you were to deal with your own insecurities and everything that you've been indoctrinated to believe growing up and challenge that for real, not throw scriptures to say stop it, but actually stand in that shit. If you were to love your queer child, then it weakens the faith. It weakens the collective. It weakens the capitalistic aspect that America depends on in order to run. So yes, I'm not surprised of all this anti-queer shit that is happening. And one thing about the whole Christian aspect is that, baby, there's going to always be blood involved. Always. And guess whose blood is always spilled? In the name of the Lord. We have, I'm going to mess your name up. I am so sorry. Emery's? If I said it wrong, please charge it to my head, not my heart. But it says, hi, I just came here. What is this about? I kind of explained it a little bit if you're still here. And I encourage you to share your thoughts. If you agree, disagree, if you want to throw the Bible up in here, girl, do whatever you want to hear. Do whatever. I don't give a damn, girl. I just want you to be honest, because that's what's going to really speak for itself, is the honesty. And as a nigga who is learning more about loving himself every day and the goddamn levels and trials and tribulations that are coming my way, the own things that in my own mind I'm going to have to face, I'm not just saying this shit just to be saying this shit. I'm saying this shit because this is something that I'm also experiencing and going through as well. And all I'm saying is, if you're going to go through this shit, look at it through the lens of love, self-love. Because God has been in the one place that organized religion has told you that he's never been in, that it's never been in. And guess where that place is? You. And there are just individuals like me who are just so delusional enough to believe it, that yes, God, source, universe, consciousness can love me as a queer person. Just like you hope God, source, consciousness loves you even though you're fighting same-sex attractions. Anyway, oh, we got King Deshaun in the building. What's going on? Deshaun says, I think this is happening all across, all the way across the board. But the thing is, it's up to the person that is knowing that they're different, pretending that they're not, to change the narrative. Because the ones that are pretending to be something that they're not create a scare of the whole environment, erasing the queer, and when they come out as queer, karma comes for them. Power of fear. I be telling y'all, the power of fear in this bitch, okay? Because they create this homophobia because, remember, when people in the closet, they are jealous of people that are out, that are being free, feminine. They want it to be baby. We gonna get into all that, but anyway, let's get into the video. All right. I think I gotta change my music because I don't even think the motherfucking African thriller background music is here. So I guess I'll just put on my I'll put on this one. Give me 1 second. Make sure y'all hit that like button to help this channel grow in the algorithms. Again, we at 913. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the shorties. Shout out to, you know, the individuals who came through within the past month or so. I appreciate y'all, and I hope that y'all enjoy y'all damn selves and that y'all stay. Okay, where is this shit at? Okay, where's the volume? There we go. Here we go. We gotta start over because this is my shit. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to the video, y'all. Again, this is from the YouTube channel entitled or called Believe It or Not. Make sure y'all go ahead and check that out. and subscribe to them, shall I say? But let's get it. Baby.
A good parent wants what is best for their child. They will do what they can to give them a good life and to make sure that they feel loved and they feel seen. A good parent may have dreams for their child's future and may see some certain talents or skills that their child has that they pour into and nurture to try to give that child the best opportunities. But a good parent also knows that their child's future is their own. A good parent knows that they can't tell their child what career they must go into, where they must live, what partner they must choose, or who they must be. A good parent knows that it's their job not to dictate their child's life, but to give them the best possible start to their life. A good parent knows that their child is their own person who will eventually have to live their own life. But there are some people who disagree with that. People who think that they do get a say in who their kid grows up to be. And some people believe that who you are can automatically make you a sinner, or automatically make you an abomination, or automatically make you a disappointment. But those are not good parents.
And I want to emphasize that I agree. First of all, when you, and yeah, it's going to be one of those lives. So make sure you got this playing in the background or something. Because we're going to be here for a minute. It's Saturday. I'm going to give y'all something. No shade. It's almost been a week since I did a live. So I'm going to give y'all money's worth. For those who send the money. But I'm going to give y'all shit. What parents, especially black parents, need to understand is that, again, if we're going to sit up here and say, oh, well, the next generation going to do it, it ain't going to happen in my lifetime, then let the next generation fucking do it. How about you goddamn learn? These are the same people who will say, oh, well, my child don't even know if they want pancakes, or if they want pizza, or if they don't want all this shit. Yeah, you're damn right. They don't know that shit because hopefully they don't learn to be gluttonous like some of you motherfuckers who got fupas and shit. But no shade. The same individuals who saying the same shit are the same ones who are asking their young ass nephews and nieces who are under 10 how to work this damn phone. How you work this phone? How you work this tablet? How you work this computer? How you work this TV? How you work this shit? How you work that? How you work this? Figure it out. Since you so damn grown, since you know every damn thing, how about you figure it out? But also, too, when children come into the world, they come through the world in the likeness of you as far as the physical aspects, but the reality and their life path and purpose is going to be different and unique. And you have a lot of broken people who ended up being parents or were emotionally unintelligent or unaware parents or unavailable parents, who then project their own traumas, their own rejections, their own failures onto their children and completely snuff out any identity of their child. These are the same people who will not educate themselves about anything different than what it is that they fucking know, because that is the safe space that they're in. And that's fine if it worked for you. But some motherfuckers are comfortable being afraid. And I'm sorry, I spent a big part of my life trying to be comfortable with being afraid. And not afraid of anything good, but afraid of bullshit. Afraid of other people's opinions and perspectives. When these motherfuckers were struggling probably worse than I was. But that's where that self-love comes in to play. Because your children gonna humble your ass. Your children gonna teach you a thing or two, or 4, or 6. Yeah, you the daddy, and you grown, but you also a human being at the end of the motherfucking day, which means that everybody gonna learn on this mug. Are you willing to be aware and know that you are a goddamn student? But again, there are a lot of parents who are broken, who are hurt. And organized religion just came through to be the problem solver. only to create and cause more division. But anyway, let's continue. I'm gonna be pausing a lot, so if that's not your stilo, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for liking and subscribing and commenting and all the other awesome stuff. I put the links down below for the social media, the Patreon, and merch. And there's new merch, like a Soda Sweating Dragon t-shirt and a me kicking a puppet. I won't say what puppet, but I'm kicking a puppet. And it could be any puppet for legal reasons. And so I'm kicking that. And there's also a treasure map. So if you get the treasure, find happiness, and you find out that the real treasure was the gold that you found in the box. Coming out should be easy. I know it's not. I'm not saying that it is, but it should be. Like in an ideal world, it would be easy to come out.
Guess what? I'm gay.
Yay! You wouldn't even have to come out because there would be no reason to hide who you are in the first place. Whether you're coming out as gay or bi or trans or non-binary or pan or ace or whatever it is you're coming out as, it shouldn't be stressful to the person coming out because it's okay not to fit into a preconceived box when it comes to your sexuality or when it comes to your gender. But the problem is, a lot of society is still stuck in this outdated notion that it's either wrong to not be who they want you to be, or it's automatically going to make your life harder if you don't fit into these boxes. But society is slowly catching up. It is easier today to come out than it used to be. There are still so many challenges, but it's easier than it was in the past. And as a result, more people are coming out. And as a result of that, more Christians have to deal with the fact that their child might be gay, or their child might be trans, or their child might not be who they expected them to be, or told them that they had to be.
I rebuke that in the name of I rebuke it. No, my child ain't gonna be gay. Fuck that. Hell no. The mama saying it. Hold on, mama saying it.
Wait a minute. We ain't finna do this. You ain't finna bring that gay shit in my house. We not finna do that, okay? Hell no, don't put that on my son, talking about my son may be gay. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Here come the damn dad. Mark, come over here and talk to this motherfucker trying to put that gay shit on our damn child.
Let me tell you something. You ain't finna bring that fag shit up. Ain't nobody about to. I ain't about to be going to the barbershops. I ain't about to be going to the goddamn hangout spots. I ain't about to be playing pool. I ain't about to be hanging with the bros and the motherfuckers laughing at me talking about you like cause your son's a fag. I ain't finna have that shit. Hell no. So don't you dare tell me that my child gonna be gay. The reason why I gave my life to Christ was to make sure that my damn child ain't gonna be gay. And especially all this motherfucking money I done put into this bitch over the years, and my grandmama and great-great-grandmama, and even though they put hundreds of thousands of dollars in the damn thing, when they die, they still gotta pay to be buried and have the service at their damn church that they gave thousands of dollars to. But if I invest all that shit like everybody else in my family did, girl, and this shit don't work out, I'm gonna tear some shit up. So for that to not happen, stop talking that gay shit on my son, okay? Before I whoop your motherfucking ass.
Girl, then feel some type of way when God's source universe consciousness be looking at them and be like, oh yeah? Oh yeah, you think you finna do that? Okay. Boom, hit your ass. My dad is a prime example. I love my father. My father was very homophobic. And you're going to hear more of it in the live, too, where they talk about, oh, well, what happens when it's your own children? There is no unconditional love that is applied. There is no love like that. It's a fear-based one. You can love them, but don't be connected to them. Don't affirm their delusions. And if that is the motherfucking case, the queer person also has an opportunity to also do the same thing to you and not confirm you in your delusions. You mad at a motherfucker being trans, but you believe about somebody in the sky that you can't fucking see. So, bitch, I guess we both in the goddamn boat. Ho, hello? Maybe it took all of this for us to see us for who we are.
So now there are resources available for these parents. And some of it is good. Some of it helps them to understand and accept their child for who they are. But way too often, it's just so terrible.
Let's get practical here. What do we do? Let's say I'm your son. I'm one of your kids, and I'm telling you, and I'm coming out, and I'm saying, hey, Dad, I'm in the LGBT crowd. I'm gay, the whole 9 yards. How do you respond?
Well, at least we know he's up on the lingo. Mom, Dad, I'm the whole 9 yards with the gay stuff.
I would look my son or my daughter in the eyes and say, thank you, first off, for having the courage to tell me, because I've been outspoken on this issue. They know where I stand, so I can only imagine the amount of just stress and thoughtfulness and concern about telling their dad.
So he already made a huge mistake before they even got to the coming out part. When you are outspoken against the LGBTQIA community as a parent, you're automatically creating an environment where if your child is gay or is trans, they will be afraid to come out to you. And they will be afraid to tell you who they really are. Because every word you say about a gay or trans person out there, they are hearing about themselves. So the first steps actually start way before your child comes out. By just being a good person and not saying awful things about gay people.
I need to know. I don't want to offend anybody else.
You could assume everyone is and not say anything offensive.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone would appreciate me treating them like they were gay.
So I would say thank you for telling me and opening up to me. I want you to know that this changes nothing about my love for you. You're my son or you're my daughter, and I love you. And that's not going to change. And you and I are going to work this through together.
So this isn't I love you, but. I love you no matter what, but immediately we'll start talking about working this through. AKA, we'll start trying to fix you.
He prefers the company of men.
Who doesn't?
Homer, listen carefully. John is a ho-mo...
Right.
Sexual.
Another...
Girl. This is what I'm talking about right here. He laid it out so beautifully. And again, I'm glad someone else did, because apparently when it comes from me, it's an agenda. That individual, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, again, I'm ignorantly speaking here, I believe is heterosexual. Just an accomplice, fuck an ally. But what he said is true. If you go to church and you know that they have a very strong viewpoint against queerness, not rooted in objective fact. We're not talking about something subjective. We're talking about objective fact. Queerness has been a part of the human experience since the human experience fucking began. And will be here long after us, the individuals who believe or don't believe it, is going to still be here. So if your child is hearing that all the time, what do you think that's going to do for the child? And again, I've shared my experiences about organized religion, how it affected my life and my viewpoint on sexuality, and how it took me almost being in my fucking 30s to actually start really healing myself for real and learning to include myself, to love myself and to love life and to know life is beautiful and that life is worth living. But the process through that was a very dangerous, damaging one, and it was one that I almost did not survive. So as a person who survived the bullshit, you know, the one that you don't want speaking, because our stories include y'all and y'all don't want that, then you should never fucking participated in the first place, B.I.B.I., then maybe we wouldn't be here. So if your child is dealing with that, and then they finally find the courage, the nerve to really tap into the Christ energy in them, the God in them, the unconditional love that is so much preached to people coming in this bitch, but don't know how to maintain that while they're in there, because it is just a ploy to get people in here to recruit them, not to help them. finally have enough courage to say, you know what? Let me tell the truth. Mom, Dad, with tears in their eyes. When I came out to my father, who was the last to know, I was already dressed. I had my suitcase packed, shoes on, everything ready because I was prepared, but to the best of my ability, to experience what unfortunately a lot of other queer people had to go through. The fuck is y'all niggas talking about? And yes, I'm gonna start talking like this because we're here now. Welcome to hell. Now we're here. All over again. All because Christians are now being asked to not just be named Christians, but walk that shit out. And the part about Christ, who was crazy, is that these people switch between Jesus and God. Now, yes, are they one and the same in spiritual essence? Yes. But as far as expressions, different. And we see the energy that a lot of Christians, unfortunately, are walking in. What's going on, Harold? What's going on, Pimpin'? What's going on? Shout out to Deshaun. Deshaun is the MVP of the chat every time. Come through. But like I said, now we're here again. We're here. And when that child finally again gets the courage to say, Mom and Dad, this is what it is. What that man gave was such a rehearsed response. Well, what I would say was, I love you. You will always be my child. But and as we continue with this live, shout out to Believe It or Not, takes what y'all say out y'all mouth just like I do and compile it together and brings it forth as evidence. Let's continue, girl. Shout out to Focus on the Family, girl. Shout out to CBN, girl. Shout out to the Christian networks, girl, doing their part, girl, to try to make as much money off the world, girl. But then when you look into their fucking backyards, into their goddamn closets, girl, they be freakier than the world, girl. Not only are they taking the money from the people, they taking all the sexual information, the freak shit, your damn children, all type of shit. For their earthly pleasures, girl, while you wait for yours in the afterlife. And then tell you that if you deviate off a path, and not even that, if you don't make sure you hold others accountable around you, God is watching you, which means if you don't do that, then you're gonna go to hell. But can't even cure athlete's foot, girl. Okay.
Heartbreaking issue is when young adults decide they are dealing with the LGBTQ spectrum, the gay and transgendered issues that are so prevalent, particularly in public schools now, with the rise of that or the affirmation of that kind of declaration. Explain why condemnation or despair is the wrong response, even though this is perhaps one of the most gut-wrenching situations you'll face as a parent.
I would think that losing a child would be pretty high up there on the gut-wrenching things to deal with as a parent scale. Finding out your child is terminally ill, pretty high up there. Finding out your child killed someone or did a horrendous crime, yeah, that would be really high on the gut-wrenching things to find out as a parent. Finding out your child trusts you enough to tell you who they truly are should be very low on that list.
One area where I see even...
Yeah, we're going to be pausing, girl, because the weed is weeding, as it should. Shout out to Mother Marijuana. Girl, everything he said, girl, what? The rise of the rise of this happening. TikTok making the children gay. X making the children gay. Instagram, social media making the children gay. You grew up with homosexuals back in the day when motherfuckers didn't have a TV in their fucking house. It was a privilege. Y'all knew who the gay boys were. That's always been the case. Again, over here on BubzDaGawd, we do our research. Did we not watch videos in the fucking 50s and 60s that were fucking documentaries and cautionary tales about the homosexual? Then you're talking about being queer is one of the gut-wrenching things. Let's speak to that. Yes, it's gut-wrenching. You know why? Because again, your child is gay, which means now you're going to possibly be the gay family. And in organized religion, they need cardinal sins. They need certain sins to stick out so much or put so much persecution on that sin or demonizing to some sort of demonization to a certain group of people that they don't fucking understand, don't want to understand, but low-key in the dark when it's time to bust nuts, now all of a sudden want to understand, but still confused at the same time, girl. All that type of shit. Girl, fuck it. Let's talk about gut-wrenching. Some of y'all guts are too fucking big. Y'all have the nerve to talk about the homosexuals, girl, but y'all over there gluttonous and belly full of motherfucking pride and fried foods. Talk about gut wrenching. Some of y'all guts meet people before the rest of your body does. Girl, when your gut is organically pushing the table away, that's God saying, girl, slow down. I just want to get to eat you. Sop you a bit. Sop your ass up like I was a biscuit. Oh, girl. Slew-footed in the spirit and in real life. And like old dude said, I don't know, you getting a fucking phone call or knock at the door, bitch, at 3 o'clock in the morning and you see police sirens whirling and flashing outside your damn house and you open the door and you got 2 police officers with a look of sadness in their eyes and they ain't gotta say shit. Yeah, I thought that would be pretty high on the list, especially when there's so many black young people being unalived. And I'm still waiting for a certain group of niggas to save little RT. You would think, oh my God, my child has developed or manifested against some sort of terminal illness and having to watch my child suffer, but still see my child choose to fight. Y'all seen all those children hospital stories of all those children who end up having all type of various forms of cancers, but still being troopers, facing the one thing that the parents and the adults who know so much are so afraid to face, but will face any motherfucking way. Maybe it's time for some of the parents and the adults to heal the inner child inside of them. And maybe God has allowed children to be a blessing to give you the motherfucking opportunity to do that. But what happens is that you have a bunch of these individuals and people who were once bullies and ignorant as children, and they become the same thing as adults. There was no ego death. There was no transformation. The beautiful thing about, I guess, quote unquote, the suffering aspect that does come with life, because we are all promised trials and tribulations. All the extra shit, you get to decide whether you want to deal with that. But we're promised all those things. But there's a reason and a lesson behind it. And when we learn and understand that and apply it to our life going forward, it enhances our life for the better objectively, not just subjectively, which is first, but objectively because of that manifestation. And again, if we're going to look at it through the lens of organized religion, where you need to be healed of homosexuality, then why is it that the ex-gay people that are paramount, that are the poster childs and the faces of the ex-gay movement, Why do every single one of them, from the young ones who are the new generation ex-gays down to the old ones such as Donnie McClurkin, who all have stated that even though they don't participate or do the act of sex, when it come down to that energy, baby, when it come down to what you really motherfucking feel, the one thing that is undeniable, the one thing that will keep being persistent in your motherfucking mind. Let me shut up.
Christians struggle with this is when it's their own kids who are struggling with this sin. When it's a family member who you love, your brother, your sister, a cousin, a best friend, you've got all this relationship, you have the bond of family, you have love for this person, and you're like, this thing comes, they come out, they say they're gay, they say they're a new, this thing or that thing. And as a parent, obviously I see Christian parents, they're crushed by this. And some parents, they stand on God's word and what is true, and they grieve that situation. Other parents, and especially I see this with moms, because God made moms to be compassionate and nurturing. Some parents.
Okay, hold on. Shout out to Emery. Thank you for being here. And again, my delivery is unique. I'm BubzDaGawd, so I appreciate you staying. Because what I'm speaking and how I'm speaking is very passionate. There is slight anger there because unfortunately I know what is going to happen and I want to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate people who are coming in, who are of the faith, who may be like, you know what? I'm going to take the time to listen to you. And even though it's going to be different for me or maybe uncomfortable for me, I'm going to walk in my Christ energy and be like, okay, let me sit here and really deal with this so I know what's really going on. So I ask that you please continue to ask questions. That's what I want. I want for y'all to ask questions to understand. And also, I'm asking questions so that I can understand. I don't know everything, but the one thing that I do know about and I'm continuing to know about is love, especially self-love. But they say, hey, I've been listening to what you've been saying, but I'm kind of confused because it seems you're Christian, but you're saying that it's okay to be gay. But the Bible says it's against the Torah to be, gays. Excuse me. Let me clarify. I am not a Christian in reference to organized religion's version of Christianity. I consider myself to be Christian in reference to unconditional love, humanity, and being able to know people by the Spirit, not a spirit that has been indoctrinated or has been recited so many times to make you believe it. But I'm talking about something that is actually real and genuine and is organic and is able to evolve and grow in the moment, because that is what love does. Love covers you no matter where you're at. And yes, there are people who are queer who are broken. They came from brokenness. They've found a way to put a band-aid on their brokenness, just like organized religion has indoctrinated us to do the same thing, and that our progress of healing is depending on how much we've memorized this book and how much we've done to keep promoting this. But then when life hits us, we struggle and don't know how to actively work through it, because we're being told that the only way that you are a true success from God is that if you have houses, money, cars, all these things that are considered worldly, but I just threw Christianity on it, so it's holy type of thing, but it doesn't help the people. So I believe more in the elements of Christ. But according to your point where you said the Bible says, the Bible is a book that is man-made. It says it is inspired by God. If it is inspired by God, then that inspiration of God will still be evolving, and it has. It has grown outside of the coffin of organized religion. It has grown outside of the box of the Bible, the basic instructions before leaving earth. There is so much about the Bible that we've been indoctrinated to believe in, but when we start asking questions about how that Bible came about, the history of that book, it terrifies us because we've invested so much time, effort, energy, and not just us, other individuals before us have invested into it as well. So we also feel a pressure to do that as well. And the gagging part about Christianity at large is that if we were to look into everybody's homes and into everybody's closets, according to that book, everybody would be going to hell. Going to hell before you gave your life to Christ and after you gave your life to Christ. But then when queer people start having those conversations and start saying, hey, you know what? Okay, let's say the gays are going to hell. Let's continue to read through the entire book. You're in there too, so we will see you there. Once we start doing that, the thing that is different, because we're expected to fight and be like, no, we're not. I'm not going to hell. I'm going to heaven. So that you can, oh, well, the Bible says this and the Bible says this. But then when a queer person says, okay, you know what? According to the narrative and the indoctrinated way, okay, yes, we're going to hell. I'll give you that. I'll play along. But so are you. But then when you start doing that, somehow, some way, miraculously, God, Christ somehow sees them and covers them and protects them and makes them unique. Now they're the daughters of God, the sons of God. Now they're all these things now that we pointed them out in the book. But see, organized religion has taught us to perform and not actually be. Which is why we continue to have these conversations. And even if I was an individual who did not, how can I say this? Even if I was an individual that believed in something else besides the Bible, that truth does not have to mean it's my path to truth. Because if we're talking about God and something being so omnipresent and omnipotent and all these other things, just, again, like I said, everywhere at once, all the time, then that means that there are unlimited expressions. And my point is that if you are expressing God in your own way and it's not subjectively and objectively harming you, me, or anybody else, then live and let live. The problem and the issue is that once you start getting to the live and let live, like I said earlier, faith, the organized faith, starts to lose its power. And it needs us to continue to fight against each other, to use the Bible against each other to destroy, not uplift, encourage, love, and let God do the other stuff, because that's the inner work that only they can do. You just give the love. That's what Christ instructed us to do, to love ourselves and give it to our neighbor. But when it's time to actually do that, a lot of Christians switch up. So if you're still here, please continue to share your perspectives and thoughts, even if you disagree with me. Because at the end of the day, regardless of where you're coming from, whether it's you're trying to learn or whether it's from a trolling type of way or just in a very hostile type of way, I'm all across the board. So, but thank you for being here, and please continue to share your thoughts. Let's continue, y'all. Let's continue.
Parents, they can't handle this problem, and so rather than stand on God's word, they compromise on the truth.
Or sometimes when you're faced with something that you didn't have to face before, you can start questioning what you once believed. Humans are really good at compartmentalizing. It's a sin to be gay, so gay people must be awful people. Therefore, it's okay that I go to a church that fights against gay rights and preaches how awful the gay agenda is because they're bad people. But then someone you love says, but I'm gay. And you think to yourself, but this is a wonderful person who I love and is nothing but kind. And you start to wrestle with what you have been taught. And some people come to the conclusion that they have been fed a lie that is rooted in hate. And they choose their child over dogma. And other people double down and say, no, the Bible is right, my pastor is right, my church is right, and my child just wants to sin.
I'm bisexual.
There's no such thing as being bisexual.
Yes, there is. I know there is because that's who I am. I'm attracted to both men and women, I've known this about myself for a really long time, and I didn't want to tell you because I was afraid you were going to react exactly like you are.
What do you want us to say?
That you accept me for who I am.
And they say, well, it's a lot easier if I just accept this lifestyle. If I find somebody on the internet to tell me it's okay, then I won't have to feel this burden I feel. I can feel better about what my kid is doing. Don't do that. You should love your children because they're yours. You should, no matter what they're struggling with, you should love them. But if you're a child of God, you can never accept the behavior that God has rejected. Listen, you can't accept what God has rejected without also rejecting God.
The Lord said to Moses, say to Aaron, for the generations to come, none of your descendants who has a defect may come near to offer food of his God. No man who has any...
Y'all listen to this real quick. Listen, let me rewind it a little bit. Just a little bit. Fuck where we at. I want y'all to hear this part. Listen.
Offer food of his God. No man who has any defect may come near. No man who is blind or lame, disfigured or deformed. No man with a crippled foot or hand, or is a hunchback or a dwarf, or who has an eye.
Not a dwarf. Oh, shit. So not only am I not gonna get into heaven because I'm gay. You telling me I'm not gonna get in that bitch because I'm short too? Damn. So y'all against leprechaun? Okay, girl. Okay, yeah.
Defect, or who has a festering or running sores or damaged testicles. So by his logic, if I don't reject disabled people, I'm rejecting God. I'm just saying maybe there are certain parts of the Bible it's okay to ignore.
And to his point, you reject. Reject, which means if you are these things, we reject you. If you are disabled, we reject you. But then claim to be a faith of transformation, girl. And then when we look at the narrative of Christ, was able to do transformative work. You know, that blind man, that lame man, that man with no foot, that man who was dead, all these things that was rejected. Interesting how that same Christ that they claim to walk behind was able to do those things. Meanwhile, these individuals are going back to the book to not heal them, not to deliver them, not to bring the demons up, not doing anything of the sort, but just saying, this is what God said and here are the consequences, as opposed to walking in that love and really making transformative work happen right then and there. But see, when you actually love people for who they are, past the masks that they have put up to protect themselves from further shame, further guilt, further demonization, when you love them for who they are, sometimes, a lot of times, no shade, they reject that love because they never had it before. Excuse me, they never had it before. Okay, I had the thing working at one point. Hold on. Well, whatever. Shit, because it's a little hum, y'all. At least I can hear it. But like, these individuals are not doing that. But when you operate in love, it transforms people. And then once people understand what that love feels like, then it makes their life better. Which means that, yes, instead of being an individual who would go out and would lose myself in drugs, which means drugs have control over me. I lose myself in alcohol, which means alcohol has control over me. That I lose myself in sex, which means sex has control over me. And I'm trying to do all that to fill a hole, a void in my fucking heart that my family also caused because of organized religion. That if they meet someone who loves them past all of their defenses, all of their shields, all of that, it will transform them to where they realize I am worthy of a person, or for some people, persons, because there are people who have the capacity to love more than one person, and I'm glad that y'all are in the world so that I don't have to do that. Shout out to God working. So regardless of whatever it is, you manifest someone or someone's in your life who's going to love you for who you are and evolve in that love no matter what life throws at you. And even though the divorce rate is fucked up, even though a lot of families are fucked up and it started off that way and it's been like that for a few generations, does not mean it's going to be that way forever. And trying to silence queer voices like myself, CTV, T.S. Madison, Hope Giselle, Deshaun, Harold, T for T, Queen Stevie, and countless other queer people, black people. All it's gonna do is cause the same cycle of y'all trying to erase some shit. All it's gonna do is come the fuck back again because it's asking you to deal with it. Y'all dealing with the wrong D, not deal, but destroy. Y'all wanna destroy it. And then feel some type of way when, like Deshaun said earlier, karma brings its ass back the fuck around. And now when it's your turn to pick up your damn cross, now it's a problem. Okay.
You do if your child came out gay? Well, I mean, I would talk to my kid. Like, you know, the right answer is that I don't care what you think. I mean, I would be straight with you guys. I don't care what you think about what I say to my kid if they come out to me as gay. I care what my kid thinks and what they're going through and the situation they've got. They've got several beliefs that are rattling around in their head, most likely, that I'm going to want to address. One of them is that homosexuality is their identity. That's what coming out is based on the fundamental lie that your sexual proclivities are your core identity.
No, it's the fact that y'all make that aspect the whole part of our damn existence and identity. That as soon as you discover that somebody is queer, here comes this attack fucking mindset and mold that begins. Coming out means that I'm brave enough to be honest about that one aspect of my life that y'all invest in more than I damn do. Damn. Y'all trying to figure out who under my bed. Ain't nobody in that bitch. Damn. By choice. But this is what I mean. Organized religion is doing its big one. The fail-safe that has been implemented by the system is doing its big one. And we're watching it happen before our eyes. And for people like myself who have survived this shit, it's like watching this shit happen again. Y'all start with the children, but don't end with them. You start coming after people like me, who is living in my truth, and is definitely gonna live in my truth, especially since I survived this shit. You damn right, I'm gonna get everything that God, source, universe, consciousness has for me, and you're not gonna be able to stop that, because whatever it has for me is for me. Maybe if you spend more time loving your damn self, you can get what the hell you want, as opposed to trying to take control of somebody else's life because you can't get it. But this is what they're teaching the people, and the people are using this to soothe their guilt, their shame. But then again, for those Christian parents of queer children, when something unfortunately does happen to your child, whether they're unalived by someone outside of them, or hell, they get to a place to where they just can't deal with it anymore. You're talking about guilt and shame. Imagine the guilt and shame you're gonna feel. Or the fact that when you are on your deathbed and death knocking at your damn door, now you want to be open, now you want to be honest, now you want to tell the truth, now you want to be able to live shit without no damn regrets. When you could have been doing that shit when you had the damn time. But see, some people unfortunately got to do that in order to understand. And that is a sad reality, just like y'all tell us about the sad realities that's going to happen to us as queer people. Okay, well, again, allow us to also check y'all blind spot so that both parties know what the hell they're getting themselves into. And no shade, only real Christians are going to be able to handle my commentary. All the fake, flaky ones, all the ones who want to conform because they know some shit about to pop the fuck off, which is why they keep telling queer people like me to repent or perish. But I also want you to understand that that same God that is judging me to hell for me being queer is the same God that's gonna judge you when you have our blood on your hands. And baby, that's a different type of guilt. You know that same guilt Judas felt? Let's see.
That's why I'm coming out. I don't come out as someone who like, I really like cats. Like, I mean, cats are cool. I have cats. Cats are cool. I like cats, dogs, whatever. Just not a bird in a cage. The only pet I don't like. I mean, I like the pet. I just don't like the cage.
Stay on target.
So that isn't my identity, okay? That's not my identity. My identity's in Christ. My identity's human. My identity's male, and my calling in relation to females and males is related to me, my maleness. So I recognize that.
I love my cat. He's my very good buddy. Some people think it's weird how much I love my cat, but we found each other at just the right times in our lives, and we were there for each other, and we really like each other. It's me and Jagger against the world. But nobody has ever threatened to disown me because I like cats. It's not that common for people to get beat up or killed because they like cats. There isn't a bunch of legislation constantly being put forward removing the rights of people who have cats. We don't have pastors yelling about people who have cats are going to burn in hell for eternity. We don't have people on the internet saying that anyone who owns a cat is a groomer. And I don't mean a cat groomer, like because some people groom cats. Oh, you've seen the ukulele song. It's these types of people who create the world where coming out is stressful and a hard thing to do, and then act shocked when people make coming out a big deal.
I had been out of ministry for a few years, and my 21-year-old daughter came to me, and she came out. Initially, she came out as bisexual, and then now she's, pretty much 100% lesbian is what she would say.
It's me. I'm the wee lesbian.
And when she came out, I've been in ministry all these years. I know the word, I know God's heart, I know his character. I know where he is in situations that hit you out of the blue and all that kind of stuff. What I didn't know was how in the world do I have a relationship with my daughter and maintain that relationship without compromising who I am. The LGBTQ, identifying people will say, this is who I am. And, for most of them, it's a big shift. It's a change, right? Well, I have identified, if you will, as a Christian since I was 9 years old when I gave my life to Christ. So that is my identity. It's not something I do on Sundays. It's how I live my life. And it's, that's not going to change except to get stronger and better and all that. But,
there's a lot of stuff I believed when I was 9 that I no longer believe. I believed my pet bird had flown south to where it was warm. I believed nobody would ever see this picture of me and my siblings sharing a toilet. I believed I would grow up to be a cop. And today I don't even believe that cops should be cops. What she is doing is what we call the sunk cost fallacy. I have spent so much of my life invested in this religion. I have been in ministry, I donated to the church, I've led people to Christ, I've been this great defender of the faith, and I can't compromise that now. But now is as good a time as any to question what you believe, because you should always be questioning what you believe. I think the only way to be sure about what you believe is to be able to question what you believe. If you can't question it, or if people try to stop you from questioning it, you know that there's something wrong.
And also, I want to say this. Let's just say, for the sake of, again, live and let live, what she stated. This is not just something I do on, Sundays or, on Tuesdays for praise rehearsal and Thursdays for Bible study. Like, no, I don't do that. Like, this is a part of who I am or my full identity. Okay, and what I'm saying is, since we live in the United States of America, and America is supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave, bitch, and we all are supposed to Again, according to the forefathers, with they bloody asses, still, a broken clock is right twice a day, girl, was able to say that all men are created equal, and they also have the freedom of religion, which means if the neighbor on the left believes in 20 gods and the one on the right believes there ain't no damn God, are they harming me? Are they hurting me? Are they taking money out of my bank account? Are they taking food out of my refrigerator? Are they interrupting my nut busting times? Are they doing any of these things? Okay, no. Live and let live. So again, to her point, if Christianity is your identity, then go ahead and be Christian. But then allow me to be who I am. And if we don't know what that looks like right now, we can establish what is known as a gray area. And if you're going to be so staunch in your identity, then you can't be mad at somebody else doing the same thing. Bitch, who is you?
So there was a real tension between us because she would say things to me like, Mom, you just got to accept that this is normal. And I would say, oh, baby, this is never going to be normal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't say, Lord, help us if it is, but some things I keep in my mind.
But these parents want to feel like they are the victims. As seen in this clip that I'm sure I've used before, but blows my mind every single time.
Just that 2 to 3% of the population has a homosexual orientation.
But one study suggests that 40% of homeless teenagers are gay. They say the main reason is because they've been rejected by their families.
Christian parents of gay children are in a tough spot.
Christian teens are kicked out of their house for being gay. Won't somebody think of how hard that is on their parents? The ones who kicked them out. For the next clip, I'm gonna cut out this woman's daughter's dead name. And I'm only gonna use a small portion because she dead names and misgenders her daughter so much.
Church.
And yes, it's Pride Month, so y'all gonna get all this colorful ass smoke. Organized religion, again, has a fail-safe to make sure that it survives. Which means that, unfortunately, there are going to be innocent casualties, and those innocent casualties are going to be queer people. A child or a teenager who is becoming aware of his sexuality, growing up in a world where his sexuality, their sexuality, is already predetermined, preconditioned for them to grow up and realize that they are not going to fit into that fucking mold, that they're going to be seen as, like the scripture that was used earlier, disabled, lame, sick, different, or how y'all call it, abominable. Deal with that psychologically as a child, as a teen, not being able to tell anyone, because if you were to utter that outside of yourself and make it real, you then have to deal with what? The reality of what comes with that. That society already fucking knows how to play into and do. Which is why those queer children don't get bullied very much by grown-ass adults. They get bullied by who? Their peers. And since children come into the world not knowing what they like, not knowing what they want, can't make their mind up, where they learn the queerphobic shit from then? They couldn't have made that up, right? Where'd it come from? But see, when we start asking those questions as well as the questions that's being asked to us, now all of a sudden it's, wait a minute, hold on. No. Again, the queers are going to hell. So again, I'm touching and agreeing with you that the fags are going to hell, girl. We going. Now that we going to hell, you ready to go, girl? You got your stuff packed, bitch? You got it ready, girl? I'm bringing the raw cones, girl. Okay. T.S. Madison bringing the Czech sodas. Deshaun is bringing the oil, girl, because we about to fully fag out in hell since we going, girl. But since we there, you want me to save you a seat? And for some of you big niggas, seats with an S, plural. Are you ready for that? But when we start asking those questions, then it's a problem and it's an issue. Not the fail-safe failing to be the fail-safe because the motherfuckers that dealt with the fail-safe shit survived the fail-safe, girl, and is not gonna fail at making sure that the fail-safe fails, girl. Ain't that funny how that works? What you resist will always persist. And that's why I'm glad that I'm a spiritual eunuch who's also a leprechaun, girl. The Bible want to make sure motherfuckers like me is dead and gone, girl, because what? We do things like this. They always silence people who are speaking truth. And I ain't talking about silence as far as the algorithms. I mean unalive them. And that is the sad part about this fucking reality that I am starting to somewhat deal with. That by me doing what I'm doing right now, I am literally putting my life on the fucking line. Putting my name on a list. Being watched. And the fact that I'm a black one doing this, a motherfucker who is double underprivileged, he's black and he's queer, up here speaking with truth because it's something that you learn, you experience, you understand, and when you get that foundation, you see it in other people to where you can be relatable to any motherfucking body. And bitch, I'm BubzDaGawd, girl, no shade. I'm learning more about that every motherfucking day, girl, and I'm amazed. But the same energy that's in me is also in your ass, but organized religion don't want you to do that, because if you do that, then guess what? Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. Since we talking about cycles and dealing with cycles, let me cycle your ass some in this shit. Pause. Never mind. Go ahead. Let's go.
Churches and communities are seeing a younger generation joining a culture that promotes gender dysphoria and transitioning.
When this happens, parents are often left in shock with few resources to help them. CBN contributor Paul Petit takes a closer look at this trend and what help is out there for parents.
This is who is now Jenna.
It came from nowhere.
You should learn to heed your own advice.
Where the hell did that come from? What's going on here?
Even in Christian homes like Melinda's, gender identity and transitioning is surging.
My son was gone, and this person in front of me was going to be changing, and it wasn't the person I knew.
Did it come from nowhere, or did she live in a home where she couldn't be herself in fear of her parents?
And not only that, I'm reminded of something what she said. I remember I was watching a particular platform, and they showed this clip from the Dr. Phil show where there was this man who ended up seeing his trans daughter, I'm using air quotes because I'm looking at it through their lens, for the first time in like years. And when their child came out as who they feel and know to be, because it's their experience, that man broke the fuck down. Broke down. Crying. Because he was mourning the loss of the child that he knew. And guess what? For some of you parents, you're gonna have to mourn it. That's how you get to the other side. Because your child gonna die any damn way, because we all have a date with death. But if you love your child unconditionally, you know, the same way you want God to love you, then you will be able to go through the process of the grief. But see, the grief wouldn't have been so damn hard if they, again, were actively walking in love. Because to, believe it or not's point, the lady saying, oh, it came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. It was always here. It came out of nowhere as far as their choice to make the change, whether you agreed with it or not. The choice that how dare they defy me. The choice of how dare you decide to not just defy me, but most importantly, defy God. To where to make sure that Miss Mamas gets into heaven. That she's going to remember her child, not the way that her child wanted to be remembered. But the funny part is, if her child was famous, if her child was bringing in all these checks, If her child made sure that her mama ain't had to work no damn more, and her mama can kick her goddamn diabetic feet ass up and rest her damn cankles and shit to be able to deal with her own life, I guarantee you she will be remembering her child based off of that. But again, because of society and the organized religion aspect of it, girl. Again, organized religion did its big one, baby, because it's indoctrinated its own participants, girl, through fear and ignorance to tighten up the loose ends for the system, girl. The system ain't got to do shit. Y'all gonna do it. So that when judgment day come, our hands are gonna be clean, girl, because all we did was tempt you. All we did is use your fear and your ignorance against you, and you, by your own volition, whether it was consciously or unconsciously, girl, you still made the choice to do this, girl, so you still got to deal with the consequences, which is why, girl, a lot of these people who are queerphobic and racist are going to hurt the worst. Because the veil, the goddamn fence, the goddamn shield, the goddamn blankie, used as the barrier of protection is going to be removed, and you're going to be face to face with what it really is. And what organized religion, unfortunately, in this capacity, this perspective is teaching Christians to do is, again, follow through with the fail-safe. And BAP, the Black Anarchist Podcast, I know you got comments because I have my other phone here that keeps me in real time, and then I have the chat here that I click on. I'm gonna definitely get to your comments. And again, make sure that y'all purchase his book, because there is a chapter. I'm not gonna do it as far as my project is concerned, unless y'all want me to, girl. And if so, you're gonna have to invest as far as production's worth, because the shit I'm gonna give y'all is gonna be production. No shade. But there's a chapter in the book where he proposes a radical idea to the black community that kind of made me, again, look at my own perspective when it comes down to that particular topic. And if you want to know what topic I'm talking about, make sure y'all go ahead and purchase Blame It on the Dress, The Manufacturing of Black Queerphobia and Performative Masculinity, link in the description box below. And I think it's chapter 9, if I'm not mistaken, Bab. Either chapter 8 or 9. You notice when I'm talking about the radical idea of what we can do that can possibly change the system where we can have control. But anyway, let's continue.
Because that person she knew was a facade. I'm sure there was a lot of who she was in that person, but a core part of her was hidden. I understand that it can be hard for some parents, but that's something that the parents have to work on. That's something that they can seek therapy for, that they can seek counsel for.
The same way how that queer person who got kicked outside of the house and who got ostracized by organized religion and had friends turn their back on them and all type of shit that y'all sing about in church, girl, thanking God that God was still there when your friends turned their back on you and shit like that. How they had to still mentally and emotionally work their way through the shit them damn selves. Y'all got to do the same thing. And that's why I give so much honor and reverence to my parents, because I've had lives with my parents on it to show, again, the other side. Because again, shout out to organized religion showing their side, girl. Shout out. Good job, bitch. Now let's show our side of the situation, girl, and see what is objectively there. And my parents had to work through their own shit, especially my fucking father, because my father was a staunch, I'm about to say Democrat, staunch Baptist deacon. This nigga was so dedicated to God, girl, he would put his bills in his Bible and pray over it, girl. Doing the voodoo shit, but the voodoo shit in Jesus' name. But he ain't just got a queer son, he has a queer children, because my sister is also queer. Oh Lord, the gay agenda every damn where. But look at how my parents dealt with that in reference to Christ. And they ain't worried about their soul salvation, because that's something that only they can fucking work out. It's a bunch of scared ass motherfuckers, girl, who can't work out their own shit and just believe that if I go to church on one Sunday, it'll happen, when bitch, you have Monday through Saturday to make some shit work, but you gotta do it. So just like how the queer people like myself, and again, if you want to know more about my story, you can go on my channel. It's called Wonderfully Made. It's a 3-part video series that I created about my life. There was an opportunity where I was not going to be here, not just once, but twice, because that shit spilled over into my adult life. Because even though I was learning to heal myself, I was interacting with other men who did not know how to heal, who were afraid to heal, who were afraid to believe that something was good for them. So of course, if they are afraid that they'll never receive love because they grew up being indoctrinated and told by their granddaddy, grandma, uncle, pastor, every damn body friend, and local crackhead with no teeth, all this shit about how they going to hell, girl, when they finally manifest somebody in their life who's going to love them and continue to heal and grow and evolve with them, girl, they fight against that. And you wonder why a lot of people are alcoholics, and you wonder why a lot of people end up doing drugs, girl, of things that are not of the earth, girl, because if I'm gonna do a drug, bitch, it's gonna be mother marijuana, girl. The Bible even ever got a scripture about plant yielding seeds, so I'm gonna be on it. You wonder why there's so much sex that's happening, because again, these people are trying to feel something. And how can you feel something if you've never experienced it before? Earth, Wind, and Fire has a song called Can't Hide Love, I think is what it's called. And there's a stanza where it says, you turn down love like it's really bad. Oh, you can't give what you never had. Yeah. You can't even give that. So again, or like RuPaul said, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to be able to love somebody else? So with that being the case, these people are not going to be able to receive love. And organized religion even made it for that even the queer people who are Christians, who want to have a healthy relationship, who want to bring their husband to church, their wife to church, their partner to church, so they can learn to strengthen themselves spiritually in a community aspect, because where 2 or 3 are gathered together, there I am, girl, and they're being excluded from it. We've literally done lives where we watch ex-gay people sit up here and say, well, even for the individuals who are doing the right thing, who are, trying to build with someone or trying to, really work past lust and really delve into the love aspect, even sexually, that even that is evil. But in order for it to be evil, it would have to produce or yield evil results that is actually destructive. And the reason why it's destructive to organized religion in this system is because it is a form of liberation that they cannot control, and it makes them question the book. The cardinal sins, or the cardinal group that's gonna deal with the cardinal sins, cannot fucking rise. And black people, why the fuck do you think they make it so hard for us to rise? Hello, is this on? Hello. And this is going to be the time to have conversations. I'm sorry, 30 seconds ain't going to cut it. 60 seconds ain't going to cut it. This ain't no 30, 60 second shit. Look at what 30 and 60 seconds has gotten us into. And again, it's Pride Month, so I'm going to really let the fuck off. Because again, if hell is where we're going, hello, bitch. Welcome. The same place that y'all pushed us at, bitch, y'all about to experience. I think it would be smart to talk to us nice. I wish I would sit up here and cuss the Uber driver out, girl, when I gotta drive 100 miles, when I gotta go 100 miles, bitch. Walk. I'm walking. Hopefully God will send you a camel or horse. Send you Pegasus to come sweep your ass off your feet, girl, and take you to where you need to go. But you ain't finna disrespect me when I'm helping your ass. And you don't even tip after 100 miles. Girl, I'll fuck around and reroute this shit, girl, and drop you off in goddamn the Hills Have Eyes territory and tell your ass, good luck. So if you really live, you'll really have a testimony. Ooh, testimony.
Because it's never a child's job to live their lives exactly as their parents dictate. Every person should just live their best life as they see fit. And sometimes that means going against what other people expect of them.
Yay, it's a boy. Mom?
So am I.
But like I said, some people just want to be the victim.
I think there's no question about it. When a child reveals to their parents how they perceive themselves, and that they announce themselves to be this or that or the other thing.
Mom, Dad, we need to talk. I'm this, that, and the other thing.
It is extremely painful for parents.
Yeah.
I've seen them weeping in my office, weeping together.
Cry me a river, Brenda from Yonkers.
I'm not saying the emotions aren't real and the pain isn't real, but the cause of that pain isn't having a gay child. The cause of that pain is listening to lies that say that this is a bad thing. A person who's upset that their white daughter is marrying a black man is also having a real emotional reaction and is experiencing real pain, but it's also coming from an evil source.
You give birth to a beautiful little baby.
For those of y'all that fuck with me, I wonder if y'all remember this nigga, girl. Remember this man? I want y'all to see if y'all remember this person, because we did a live off of this video here, so it's just very symbolic that it's happening, and yet happening in Pride Month. Let's continue.
You nurse that baby, you feed that baby, you kiss that baby, you love that baby, you provide for that baby, you change that baby's dirty diapers. That baby means everything in the world to you, and they are the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen.
So everything that he's saying, I want y'all to listen to that. You love that baby. You wipe that baby's shitty ass. And I ain't talking about when it's all little cute poop poop. I'm talking about shitting all up his back. I'm talking about just nasty stuff. You did all that stuff. You done dealt with terrible threes, breaking shit, swinging on shit, burning shit, exploring shit. Then you get to a certain point when they start, you went through all that process of growing with this person. So keep that in mind. Again, you went through all that with your child. Your child trying to get the frustrations of trying to get your child to talk, and now that your child talking, they sound like me. Just can't shut the fuck up. Have you ready to have postpartum? And if I'm not mistaken, ain't postpartum. I might be saying that wrong, but as far as when women give birth, ain't there a part or a period where they be like, girl, fuck that child? I'll take the child and everybody else in the house out. Ain't that the something? I mean, come on now. So I want y'all to remember that as far as this progress and this growing that has been happening with this child, again, infused in love. I love you, infused in love. Let's continue to see if that love evolves or if that love continues to be. Let's see if that love that was unconditional during all those moments with the child, even the difficult ones, let's see if that love stays unconditional or conditional or not, especially with this video.
Raise them up as best you can in a Christian home. You take them to church, you teach them right from wrong. You read the Bible to them at night before they go to bed. You do everything you can as a Christian parent to teach them the ways of Jesus. And then one day, your greatest nightmare or one of your greatest fears comes to pass.
Your son starts calling women females and talks about how it's really hard for men these days.
That same child, that beautiful baby boy, that beautiful, darling, innocent little sweet little girl comes to you and says that they are having same-sex attraction. Or maybe they come to you and they say that I'm out, I'm gay, I'm LGBTQ. How do you process that? What do you do? How do you put the dreams that you had for that child on the altar when everything that you thought that they would be now comes crashing down?
Interesting. And I kind of want to get to the Black Anarchist podcast again. Shout out to him. Check out his book. He says most of their guilt and shame is caused by the fact that they procreated. Now, again, he provides a very interesting perspective. And I would ask that y'all please buy the book so y'all can educate yourself more on it, or go to his platform, because I do believe that he speaks on it. So again, make sure you subscribe to him as well. But it's a very interesting take that I do kind of want to explore more. They know that their children have to suffer and die because they imposed life onto their children without their consent. And then not only the parents, but then some of the children end up dealing with the fact of they feel bad that they were born because they didn't ask to be here. And then you wonder why a lot of black children these days are making music of destruction that is being promoted, since we're talking about promotion, by the powers that be, to create more broken homes, a fucking generational curse that just like a Negro spiritual, we have turned into a Negro spiritual over ourselves. Songs of freedom to help motherfuckers get from the South to the North and to give hoes hope have been transposed and transmuted and perversed, as a lot of motherfuckers would say, into lullabies of death and destruction caused by brokenness. The self-deletion rate on the rise, especially within the queer community and especially amongst black queer people that are on the rise. And then in some black spaces, when black people take their life, we feel some type of way because we feel like that's some white people shit. Do you see the toxicity that we in the community, especially as blackness across the board, has continued to uphold, to where, again, the fail-safe of the system is that, girl, hopefully they would destroy themselves. Them destroying us is the last resort. They're hoping that we will follow the cycle we've always been following. But the fact that we are in the information age and we're still here is the problem and the issue. And again, the Black Anarchist podcast, I'm pretty sure he can explain it a lot more in detail than I could ever do. But again, it's a very interesting perspective. Because again, I guess I'm just gonna spill it, girl. You can still buy the book to get the details, but I'll give you what the chapter is about in a sense. For me, even though I'm queer, I still have an aspiration, which I'm struggling with now, to have children. And I want children of my own. And there are ways that I can achieve that without having to fuck a female. Come on, bro. It's not that queer people can't procreate. It's the fact that we won't procreate in the way that you want us to. And some of y'all regret procreating in the way that y'all do. So hello. I guess the one fail-safe for me being gay is that I don't have to worry about no oops problem. But I want to have children. But if this is the route that we're going in, and it seems we're going to be staying in, I'm not going to bring children to the Black Anarchist podcast point. I'm not going to bring black children into this world if black children are just going to be sacrificed to the altar of white supremacy. I'm not. Me being an educated black man is already a strike against me, because my purpose in this system was to become a dumb, stupid, ignorant ass nigga who continues to be a person that chants this death chant over our communities and then become a casualty, and then motherfuckers can make money off of all that shit. But I didn't become that. I was supposed to be another man out here who was emotionally unavailable, broken, and the only way to find some healing was in some pussy. But then because I'm ignorant, because I can't put a condom on because it don't feel right, and I'm too worried about my nut in the moment as opposed to my nut in the future, girl, as it developing into a fucking human being, to where now you have multiple children and you struggle to be able to provide for your damn self and your own mental health. Hello, Mental Health for Men's Month. See how the universe put us all in a category together, bitch? Unbeknownst to us. Well, some of us. I was supposed to be creating broken homes and creating children where then the system can fucking pimp them out and get money off of them, girl. Because at least with the youth, you can really use them up because they're fresh. And when you have a community that is actively fighting against its own healing, its own deliverance, out of fear and ignorance, this is what happens. So if this is going to be the cycle, then I'm going to have to make a choice to not give. And even if I were to give to the system, guess what? All I will be seen as a sacrifice to that is expendable. And I'm starting to realize that the reason why some of you motherfuckers, and yeah, this is Pride Month, the reason why some of you motherfuckers are afraid to have these conversations, or that some of you motherfuckers who was talking big shit during the whole election, girl, trumping the fuck out, girl, going in on the fags, going in on the black holes, going in on all the degenerates of the fucking world, girl. Now that y'all got y'all wish and some extra shit, now y'all are very, very quiet. Motherfuckers was talking with more confidence and more than they fucking eat. And that is impossible in some of these niggas' cases, girl. But now that the table has been prepared, at the table is here, at the table. Now that the table and the feast of your bullshit, the fuck you flowers that have now produced because you planted fuck you seeds, now all of a sudden ain't nobody trying to claim motherfuckers, girl. Now y'all don't want to say nothing. Now y'all quiet. Now y'all becoming movie review motherfuckers now. Y'all ain't talking about the gays no more, girl, when the gays was your bread and butter, bitch. To the point that somebody who was close to the line, according to some of y'all homosexuality, girl, came through and made y'all the most money, bitch, on any of y'all motherfucking lives. And the nigga, I gotta believe, still didn't see any of that. Now that the reality is here, I want you niggas that when y'all start talking y'all shit, now that the reality that y'all want is here, I want y'all to stand up, unhitch y'all bra in the back and let them titties fly, unbutton or unbuckle your belt and zip your shit down to let that lower stomach, that lower region breathe. I want y'all to put y'all hand on his hip, and my hip, your hip, we dip. Girl, put it on your hip and stand like you damn Miss Sealy. You told Harpo to be stand like Donnie McClurkin, girl. As he's putting his clothes on from him sinning. Don't trip, he ain't through with me yet. And I want y'all to talk y'all shit, and y'all and even though y'all quiet, let me say it in the way that the God of white supremacy is going to say it in this project.
Thank you for all that you have done for me. The fact that some of you have fupas and barely share your food, the fact that you will share something more precious than your food, your children, to me. I am so glad to know that there are some of you loyal niggas, girl, who are going to commit to me no matter what. That all I have to do is teach you how to eat your own, and you will do it for yourself. And all I have to do is sit back and watch. Y'all hoes ain't ready for this motherfucking project, bitch. And if your ass don't smoke weed, bitch, I advise that your ass start. It's gonna help to open up your fear-based, rigid-ass mind to the reality of not just what is, but what could be in a beautiful way. But you'd rather continue to eat the crumbs from my fucking table. And the fact that some of y'all getting obese off of crumbs frightens me.
Let's continue.
How do you move forward?
You love them and you tell them that just because I brought you into this world, just because I raised you, doesn't mean that you have to fit any one mold. That everyone is unique, and it would be ridiculous for you to expect them to fit into your preconceived notion of who you want them to be. You see, there's really only one way to avoid disappointing your parents. It's not to live exactly as they would want you to live and follow their exact plan and say all the things that your parents want you to say at the right time. Because in that world, you're always going to mess up. And there's always going to be something that disappoints your parents. The only possible way to not disappoint your parents is to have parents who understand that their child is going to have to carve their own path. In other words, it is not up to you to make sure you don't disappoint your parents.
Before we go forward to Deshaun's point, he said they're taking the children, not just putting, grown-ass people in jail. We know ICE is doing this because, first by attacking the crowd, just like what they did to that news reporter that's Australian, the woman that shot a rubber bullet at her leg, that little clip that I saw that's up on Instagram. And again, we've seen the clips of little children going to court to defend themselves. The same people who sit up here and tell the queer people, girl, that, oh, they don't know what that is yet. Don't be trying to put that on them or whatever, girl. They don't know. They don't know if they want pizza, if they want ice cream, if they want goddamn Twinkies, if they want me to put the pizza and the ice cream and the Twinkie and shit together and make it some shit. I don't know. They don't know what the hell they want. They always changing their damn mind. But yet, y'all not outraged about little ass children defending themselves in the court of law when your ass can't defend yourself in the court of law and you need a fucking lawyer? No shade. Organized religion did this. I will give honor where it's due, bitch. You did your big one, girl. You did your big one, girl. You have found a way to capitalize off of fear and ignorance, girl. But for how long, bitch? Because, girl, even though you hoes are doing this shit, girl, and it's been happening for a long ass time, girl, every dog has its day, bitch. And the universe don't give a fuck, girl. The universe sees you as a spirit, girl. Whether you manifest as a human being, as a goddamn dog, as a blade of grass, okay? As some of these niggas goddamn underwear, girl, which is, I'd rather go to hell than be some of these niggas underwear, girl. Ooh, girl, I'm about to throw up thinking about it. Let me shut my ass up so we can continue.
We're a couple, like dating.
That shit threw me off.
No. Yeah.
No. You're just very good friends.
No, that's not what you just saw.
What I saw was you expressing your good friendship, just like the girls on the tennis team used to do when I was in school.
What I teach in my parent groups is that, number one, we have to know where God stands on all this and have a bit.
No shade. See how universal work, girl. The Black Anarchist podcast said, according to the Bible, women are not supposed to be ministers. So with that being said, ma'am, your words are invalid. And on top of that, even though I'm gay, I'm still a man. I got dick and balls. So where your husband at? And no, I'm not asking because I want him. Because, girl, if he wants you, girl, I don't want him. But no shade, girl. Well, not just pull the Nene links, girl. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I apologize. Shouldn't have said that, girl. No shade. But where your husband at, though? Because he's supposed to be talking, not you. We shouldn't be listening to you. Oh, I talk to parents and No, talk to the mothers. Talk to the women. Go be the leader of the flock of the females. You don't get to sit up here and talk to parents and families about all this type of stuff. Where's your husband at? Your husband should be speaking for you, and you should only be speaking to support what the hell your husband's saying while you rubbing his damn back and letting your man lead while you be what? The helpmate. So where your husband?
Biblical foundation for what we believe, right? And then we have to deal with our own grief and our anger and our shame. I mean, if we do not deal with our shame, that will cause us to acquiesce to whatever it is our kids want, and we will try to rescue them, and we will try to please them and all those things to make up for our shame at feeling guilty, that our kids turned out this way. And so, the first half of my Bible study book is about the parents themselves, and just walking through this crazy journey of, how did I mess up my kids so bad? I mean, that was the first thing that came to my mind,
Yes.
after my daughter came out, was what in the world did I do to mess her up so bad, And then the second thought was, how can I ever do ministry again? So that shame was palpable.
That was God's way of telling you to sit your ass down as a female and let your husband lead by giving you a queer child. That's just God working in mysterious ways. I'm just saying.
Something you'll hear a lot in these videos. Me, me, me. I. What did I do? What will this do to me? How will I look? How can I fix this?
Think of the property values. Now we can never say only straight people have been in this house.
I want to encourage you to be careful about internalizing any sort of guilt that you might experience from your children's poor decisions.
The poor decision of deciding to be comfortable in their own skin, of not pretending to be something that they're not.
I met a woman there. She came into my workshop and shared that her 17-year-old son had just come out, and she was just frantic. I've got to fix this. I've got to fix this. And, she was just, out of her mind. And I get that, because I was right there, in the same place when my daughter came out. So I sat there with her, and she was crying so hard she could barely talk. And I said, I need you to repeat after me. And she said, okay. And I said, I cannot fix my son. And she repeated it. And I said it again, I cannot fix my son. And I probably had her repeat it 4 or 5 times, because that is the biggest fallacy that we can be deceived by, is that if there's something I did to mess this up, then there's certainly something I can do to fix it, right?
That would be great if the reason she's saying she cannot fix her son is to assure her that her son isn't broken. But she's not. She's saying your son is definitely broken. He needs to be fixed, but it's not you who's going to do it.
Understand first rather than judge. Now, this is going to be very difficult for Christian parents, because the very thought of our children, or anyone for that matter, acting out on a same-sex relationship can be devastating, and it can be something that is totally disgusting to you in your mind. And so the reaction whenever your children bring something like this to you is to immediately judge, or to make a face, or to respond in such a way that communicates an extreme disapproval to your children. But
the reason it's disgusting to these people is because they only see sexuality as what happens in the bedroom. When their son is straight, they don't think, oh, gross, that means they're going to bang some woman. They think about a white picket fence, a couple kids in a minivan.
And not even that, the fact that now I can talk to my son about pussy. Now that you got some pussy, now you see what life is about, son. You see what it's about, son. And I put a thing on my damn Instagram yesterday where it was a Knights at the Round Table, girl, and it had 3 different knights, girl. They put they fucking edges of their damn swords on the table, girl. 3 people, straight, bisexual, gay. All of us are putting our goddamn knights, swords and shit at the tip of the table. And what's the table, girl? Ass. So at least that's one area that we can motherfucking agree on. And I guess what I'm hearing from some of you down low niggas, girl, some of y'all kind of already agree with that. But I'm just saying, girl, like, when it comes down to heterosexuality, there is like this, yes. I get it, because yes, my son ain't no fag, my daughter ain't no this, girl, thank you. Whoo, thank you, Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the cardinal sins. That's like saying, and I'm just using this as an analogy, according to how society looks at it. I don't mind getting STIs if it's something that can be healed, but if it's an STD or something that's incurable, I want to avoid those. But anything else I get, I can heal. That's what it's giving. That being gay, being against the system, you are now an STI, STD to the system that needs to be purged. And we are the lifeline, the blood cells of this system. We are the cogs in the machine, girl. And if one cog starts fucking up, the system starts to malfunction. So again, the fail-safe is being put into place. All they're doing is teaching a softer version of, I'm going to try to find every way to not deal with the actual conflict. Let me throw in some shit to avoid the actual fucking conversation or the reality that I'm being faced with. Which means as soon as you hear that your child is queer, don't do no face. And the type of person I am, no shade, I can shut my mouth, but my face gonna always show. It's just something, it is what it is. Now, if my face is just straight mute, that's when you need to be worried, girl. When I have facial expressions, girl, that's different. But when my shit mute, girl, and I'm just stone cold, girl, that's different. You might want to worry a little bit. Telling them again, don't deal with guilt. Don't be empathetic. Don't do that, because the devil plays on empathy. The devil wants you to sacrifice your damn child and throw your child to the streets and to the fucking wolves. But if God was to throw your ass to the wolves, then you would be feeling some type of way. Ain't that the reason why you fall on your face every Sunday snotting? I should have been came to you. All that type of shit. As if though God don't see what the fuck you do the moment you pull off from church. As the infamous meme goes, the yoke of the enemy has been destroyed. Fuck the trail shit. Girl, miss me with all that.
Son is gay, they think about him hooking up in an alley with some random dude. He could still have the white picket fence and the kids. Probably not the minivan. I don't think that gay people own minivans. But I could be wrong about that.
What's going on,
encourage
T4T?
you to really...
Before we continue, shout out to T4T. Make sure you go subscribe to him as well, okay? He is actually boots on the ground. I ain't talking about where them fans at, girl. And no shade, I hope y'all brought some fans, girl, because it's boots on the ground where they doing all type of mace and tear gas and all that type of shit. He is participating in the protest in reference to the King's Day, girl. I'm over here just doing other forms of activism, girl, because it's not just one. In the words of some bitch that I don't remember from the House of Dragons, in order to slay a dragon, you have to hit it from multiple angles, girl. And I'm just trying to find and work this other angle, okay? I'm a leprechaun, so I have a different vantage point. Let me use that. But he is out there going live, sharing and documenting his experience. And again, make sure y'all check him out. I guess in a sense also to kind of prepare yourself for what's to come. Because if peaceful protesters, if peaceful, the ones who are walking in their Christ, like society says, are being met with militarized police, riot gear, militarized vehicles, and a weaponry, girl, this is not meant to be peaceful. If you got to bring all this to a peaceful event and expect something to happen, that's wild. Let's continue.
He tried to drill down and understand exactly where on the journey or where on the spectrum, if you will, your
Joe, if you are still here, I hope you are. You said false gospel. Could you clarify that for me just to make sure that I'm clear? What do you mean by false gospel? Please share your perspective and also share it in your groups. If you got some Christian friends to where you like, oh girl, if y'all want to sit up here and God is glamorous me like I'm Jasmine Garden just for it to happen in that same way, girl, go ahead. Share it in your religious groups. Share it to your Christian groups. Let them know about this homosexual leprechaun girl, disabled motherfucker girl, according to the Bible, and lame and sick and shit girl, homosexual. This is y'all time to shine, girl. I just hope y'all coming through with some good light bulbs, girl. No shade, I'm just saying. Let's continue.
Child is. Are they simply experiencing same-sex attraction, or are they actually acting out on this behavior, or are they just simply trying to identify as gay? So you want to ask those types of questions whenever you are talking with your child.
If it was because you wanted to better understand their journey, that's one thing. But this sounds more like it's to better understand how grossed out you should be
Fucking
and to better
interrogation.
understand how you can fix them.
I mean, we're seeing data and polls coming out showing that Gen Z, I mean, insane proportions of Gen Z, upwards to 40% in some polls, saying that they identify in some way with the LGBTQ community. So clearly, and previous polls were showing 6% of the overall population saying things like that. So this is a major issue. It's in Hollywood, it's in entertainment, it's in media. And I think a lot of people are ill-equipped to answer the questions. But as you said, particularly when it's their children.
Susan, what am I always saying?
College turns people gay.
College turns people gay. Absolutely right. Out there on the lawn every weekend, tossing the frisbee around.
How the fuck is frisbee gay?
It's a sport where nobody wins. It's only about the fun.
The percentage of Americans who identify as LGBT. Traditionalists, the generation before 1946, 0.8%. Baby boomers, 2.6%. Generation X, 4.2%. Millennials, that's my generation, 10.5%. And Gen Z, 20.8%. Why do you think that doubled? If you were to ask someone from the LGBT movement, they would say, that's because society has become more accepting and people don't have to keep it hidden anymore. I would say that's a total lie.
Except it's not a total lie.
Hold on, before you start talking about shit is a lie, cure a cold first. Regenerate a fucking leg. Go to a fucking funeral and raise the dead. You need to walk in that, and don't talk about, oh, well, Jesus is the only one that can do it. Christ said that you will go forth and do far greater works than me. I'm just and I ain't talking about me as the person. I'm talking about the energy in me that's also in you. I am just like you. You just have to see your own version of it, just like I did. And I bet you the pastors and ministers that we see speaking about this, they happen to know so much about homosexuality, girl, but don't know how to cure world hunger or world homelessness or bring down the self-deletion rate, or in black communities, girl, have big, great ass cathedrals, girl, where black people give their money, but meanwhile your church is surrounded in an area that's always on the noon, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, breaking news every day. Somebody is dying in the neighborhood where there are many churches. Y'all think I be playing, girl. This is what fear looks like. This is what fear looks like. And again, as an individual who is growing in my own life, I'm going to face fear. And the fears that I face, I have to remind myself, is the fears that I'm going to face are going to be fears that I create, because fears or anything don't manifest in my life as far as an interpretation unless I give it permission to. And a lot of these people have the opportunity to love their child where they are at. Their child who also has to think about their fucking life and their livelihood and putting that on the line, to be honest. Again, walking in spirit and truth, but it seemed like hoes really love walking in spirit and deception. And if you love walking in spirit and deception out of fear, yeah, you need to run the other way. Because those are people that will lead your ass off the cliff and throw you off before they ever jump, before they ever show their faith, before they can motherfucking leap and show us, I believe I can fly. And we see where that nigga at.
And it's the truth. But yes, more Gen Z are comfortable saying they are LGBTQIA and are able to accept that they are. And there's more resources to help people understand who they are. We also have less stigma. Still way too much stigma, but less.
Because the agenda to manipulate through propaganda has become more successful. And so you take people who are young and confused and vulnerable. Everyone in puberty is vulnerable and confused and emotional and feels awkward, like they don't identify or fit in. Most people have that kind of struggle at one point or another. And then this movement, this message, it comes along and says, hey, this is who you are. You don't relate to other boys, it's because you're gay. You don't relate to other girls, it's because you're a lesbian. Oh, you don't fit into these categories, you feel awkward, maybe you're some other weird thing.
And, you know, I know when it comes to minor children, you know, they're being targeted, honestly. I mean, they're just blatantly, they're in the bullseye of the target right now with all this gender confusion and even the lesbian and gay stuff. I mean, they're just inundated with it everywhere they go. All the social media, the entertainment. I mean, even the cartoons for the little ones, you know, now have LGBTQ characters in them. So we have to understand that it may have been something that we did. And if it was, then yes, we come to grips with that. We make amends for that however we can. But the bigger thing is probably that we didn't have anything to do with it. It was their perception. It was either their perception of our family life or whatever, or it's the what has become called the social contagion of the day. You know, this has become contagious in our schools, and
LGBTQIA.
This is why I've gotten to a point to where, girl, the way I be talking when it comes in certain cases, girl, I'm just not gonna give a fuck, girl. Again, Christians are trying to find a way to get out of being accountable. Instead of being accountable and being able to talk with real, true, genuine, authentic discernment. Basically what they're saying is that, oh, they're interpreting what you're saying, and I get it. This organized religion has indoctrinated us to believe that you're doing what's best for your child. Kicking your child out is not best for your child, especially when your child is vulnerable in this moment. I already shared the experience about when I came out to my father. Again, he was the last person I came out to. How literally weeks fucking later, I ended up having to go to a fucking deliverance service where the woman of God, and maybe it was because it was a female, like the Bible tell it, was not able to remove anything from me. Homegirl walked right past me. This narrative is dangerous and it destroys actual families. You know why? Because some of those people who are queer end up taking their lives, which will affect the family. Some of them will have no choice but to operate in the same energy as y'all do when y'all kicking them out. Okay, then well, if you're kicking me out, don't ever ask for me again when you're in your deathbed. I don't give a damn. But do you see what happens is that when death enters the chat, when something comes that challenges your mortality, just like how it challenged the mortality of the child you kicked out your fucking house, now you have a sense of awareness. And what y'all don't seem to understand because you're fearful and ignorant is that energetically, God, source, universe, consciousness really deals with energy. So motherfuckers can sit up here and pretend, and America is so good at just pretending and being someone that we're not. We're a performative state. We're the entertainment aspect of the world. This is the American dream, girl, where you can come over here and be whatever the fuck you want to be unless your ass really attempt to or do it better than me. Then it's a problem and it's an issue, but it's an aspiration. And the gag is that I'm going to make so much money off of every... Let me put the voice on, bitch.
Again, I thank you for all that you do. I love how y'all influence other people to drink the poison that I put in the Kool-Aid. And see, black people, you should have known that the Kool-Aid was poisoned, cause I didn't even put any fucking sugar in it. And I know how you niggas love your sugar. feels so good to watch you give your children to me. I love how you push your own children out of your safety, out of your field of view, out of your Christian love, and then I get to come in and guide them. Look at your black sons. You're so worried about homosexuals, your son will be dead before he could ever live his best gay life. Look at all of the young black men who have followed the path of performative masculinity. Again, you get the book, Blame It on the Dress. But I know you dumbass niggas ain't gonna fucking read it. You'll keep chanting my name. You'll keep singing death hymns over your communities whenever there are new babies that are introduced into your neighborhood. They already belong to me. I just have the luxury and the privilege to decide what I want to do with it. Again, y'all bitches ain't ready for my project, girl. Once I get these contact lenses, bitch, and this makeup and shit, y'all not ready.
But you better get ready. No shade. We got boy Crazy in the building. What's going on, Pimpin'? What's going on? What's going on? Anyway, let's continue, y'all, because I'm starting to get the munches. And I want to get through this. No shade, so I can get my big back on at least one time today.
People exist in media because they exist in real life, and people reflect what is happening in real life in the arts. Schools are not recruiting kids or turning people gay. They are saying it is okay if they are gay. That is a big difference.
A lot of times, even with young men, they were sexually abused. Mom and dad, you may not know that, but they may have been molested or by a cousin, a relative, a friend, a neighbor, who knows? And sometimes they just need to hear the words, "You're not a homosexual."
No, that's not how it works at all. There is no correlation between being sexually abused and being gay. There have been people who have been abused and then acted out sexually with men, even though they were only attracted to women. And that is sad. And I'm sorry to anyone who has gone through that. But that's not what being gay is. That is a straight person going through a lot of stuff who needs a lot of support. And my heart goes out to them. There are also kids who show signs of being gay who are then taken advantage of, because people then use that shame and use that as a tool to keep them quiet. But being sexually abused does not make a person gay. Person is born gay. What's frustrating with this is that this is a gay man who wasn't sexually abused talking about this outdated belief that he knows isn't true, at least for him.
Just because you were aroused because somebody did something to you that was inappropriate does not mean that you were gay. And I've shared that with so many people, and they're like, wow, I'm not? No, you're not. That should have never have happened to you. Now, in my case, I wasn't abused. I was never sexually abused. And to where my kids are now, I don't believe that's happened to them. But that doesn't, you want to maybe ask those types of questions, son, daughter, has anyone ever abused you or whatever? And surprisingly enough, a lot of times people who deal with LGBTQ plus issues, there's some type of sexual abuse in their past, and this is how it's expressing itself.
And that is
no shade. I low-key want to share a point, and I kind of want to tell y'all who kind of shared this point with me, but I ain't going to say it. But they said something along the lines of, and when they said, I said, oh, that's a very interesting question. Let's use the concept of sexual abuse, right? And children have been abused by somebody in it, made them gay. If you had a traumatic experience that happened, and again, this is just a question, a traumatic experience in your life that was something that you did not want, why would you continue to do that? And to his point, not everybody who was queer was touched. I remember I was on a panel and a beautiful woman said that if her child were to tell her that they were queer, the first thing that she would ask is, who touched you? Who did this? And I had to let her know respectfully, ma'am, that's not everybody's story. And instead of her saying, you know what, you're right, I'm not going to generalize, I'm going to ask questions first to, get more information, no context and nuance. But she said to me, okay, well, maybe not you, but the majority of them. How do you know this? And then if that's the case, what do you then say to the individuals who were abused sexually by the same sex who are attracted to the opposite sex? And if your child or an adult has been sexually abused, I would hope that they would get therapy to be able to remove whatever or deal or heal, shall I say, whatever trauma that happened, so that they can have a healthy relation to sex, because there's going to be someone out there who is going to love them and therefore want to make love to them. And they have to be in a space and a place to be receptive enough to receive it. But see, because organized religion ain't working with no real objective power, only just material power, and the transmutation and the manipulation of people's emotions and thoughts, to keep the system going, they are lowering the bar so much to where it's like, at this damn point, don't even feel bad. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna put some laws in place. We're gonna get some people to do it. You may hear screaming, you may hear gunshots, you may see all this shit, but just sit your ass down and just keep believing. And if you do this, you will be safe. If you keep believing the way we believe, you will be safe. That's why the Trump administration and all these people saying, oh, well, you got to just get through it. Yeah, it's about to be a purge, baby. It's about to be a dark night of the soul, baby. It's about to be the purge number 2 and number 3, girl. And low-key number 4, but really number 3. Maybe I'm going to watch that later on tonight, The Purge 3. And that real Christians are going to do what? Sit back, shut the fuck up, bow your goddamn head, and don't say a damn thing. Because now their interpretation of the real manifestation of God, which is destruction, is about to come through. The gag is that this go round, Miss Bitch, y'all not gonna be holding the fucking gauntlet with all the infinity stones, bitch. Hell no. Universe gonna say rewind that shit, and hoes wanna go back to the 60s and the 70s any goddamn way. Okay, bitch, let's go back, but let's learn, bitch. Let's change the reality of this whole, girl. Just because we going back don't mean it gotta be the same way, girl. It's anybody's motherfucking game, bitch. At this point, what do you believe? So let's go back so that we can rectify the past mistakes, girl. It's that these hoes want us to play by the same playbook, and we gotta also switch it the fuck up. Because everything that we depended on to protect democracy, to protect humanity, to elevate, to include everybody, which means we all fucking share. And if the universe has allowed for us to come in this bitch without y'all motherfuckers' permissions, girl, we are already provided for. It's just that we are taught in this system that we have to pay to live here, while bitches live off of our shit.
Pay attention to the early warning signs. In a really good article on Focus on the Family, they do a really good job of helping parents try to figure out some of the early signs that you should be paying attention to in your child's life, so that you can have the early conversations with them instead of leaving them on an island by themselves to process the things that they're dealing with all alone.
So before they start to figure themselves out because they in their mind 24/7. Mom, you're not in my fucking mind. Dad, you're not in my fucking mind. Pastor, you're not in my fucking mind. Y'all can barely deal with what's going on in y'all damn mind. So I'm the one that's with me 24/7, 365, first breath, last one. So I'm with me. If anything else, it's counsel outside of me because you got to figure out your own shit. But do you see how they said that it's best to get in there early to indoctrinate them to say you are not this? And then on top of that, what y'all don't understand is that the queer community is not a monolith within itself, because even though I'm queer, I'm learning more about the community and the different aspects of it, which is why when I get up here, I'm able to say that I'm speaking ignorantly. And no shade, I think somebody is saying that he's taking up the whole chat. Yeah, because he's sharing his viewpoints and perspectives. I would also like for y'all to share y'all's as well. You ain't just got to listen. I would love to hear y'all perspectives and what y'all think, because this generates conversation. If you're not in a place or a capacity to respond, then I understand. But, you know, I want to hear y'all thoughts. Why don't y'all sit here and challenge Deshaun and see who's going to be the MVP of the chat? I'm just saying. But you know what? Let's continue. We're almost done, y'all.
One of the signs that they talk about is a recurring desire to be
And I
the
say that
opposite
respectfully.
sex, or an insistence that they are the opposite sex. Sign number 2 is an affinity to cross-dress.
Can you tell who's gay and who's not?
Of course.
What about Oscar?
Absolutely not.
Well, he is.
Well, he's not dressed in women's clothes, so...
Number 3, a strong and persistent preference for cross-sexual roles in make-believe play, persistent fantasies of being the opposite sex. Number 4.
Hold on. So a nigga can be Spider-Man, a nigga can be Batman, a nigga can be the Incredible Hulk, can be Iron Man, could be Black Panther, Captain America, Thor, all that type of shit. A nigga could be a cowboy, a goddamn Indian, a space nigga. This nigga could be Bob the Builder. This nigga can sit here and talk to goddamn dinosaurs and shit. He can take action figures and pretend that he is actually making them move and shit. You have him playing with Hot Wheels, car wash, and all type of stuff. All these things that occupy children to stop them from asking you questions, because they getting on your damn nerves. But if your son decides that he wants to put on a dress, or your daughter decides that she wants to put on something that is considered more masculine, all of a sudden in your motherfucking mind, you go into gay, and the gay that society said. Meanwhile, a lot of queer children don't even realize what queer is for themselves. They realize the societal aspect. They realize the religious aspect. They realize the fail-safe in action aspect of it. We understand that. But it takes us getting to become older and to start loving ourselves and walking in our truth to figure out what the fuck that even looks like, because our truth was controlled by somebody else. At this point, I don't know what else y'all need to see, because at this point, I'm just going to say y'all are willfully being ignorant. And bitch, when the universe knows that you willfully ignorant, girl, it just says, okay, let's level the playing field. Okay, girl, so when it comes your way, don't get mad, girl. When the universe come through and rewrite and revamp and moonwalk back, girl, like I was saying earlier with the analogy of the gauntlet and the fucking Infinity Stones, girl, Thanos sat his ass down knowing that it was finished, bitch, and the universe gagged that ass girl and said, no, bitch, let's really let fate decide, ho. And look what happened. If you real, include yourself. That's what Christ did. According to the narrative, he had all type of power to rain down hell and fire and brimstone on a whole bunch of motherfuckers, but chose not to because he knew the truth. And if the people were to get into connection with that truth, the whole system falls, and the system is not gonna have that, girl. And no shade, like I said, bitch, I'm putting my life on the line in this Trump regime, girl. So if that's gonna be what the fuck's gonna happen to BubzDaGawd, girl, y'all can at least let a nigga enjoy whatever time he got left, girl, by hitting that Cash App. I know Deshaun wanna send me the oil and shit and me rub down, girl, but until the rub down comes down, the Cash App is good, girl. So if y'all wanna hit a nigga in the Cash App, $ BubzDaGawd. I'm not gonna be able to see it now because I'm using my phone as a webcam, but afterwards, I will give you a shout out in the community post, girl. No shade, I'm just saying. Baby, just make sure that the leprechaun can still live his best life, girl, regardless of what time a nigga got left, because I don't know, nor is that my a responsibility to figure out. All I'm going to do is live, regardless of who the fuck is president, bitch. I'm the president of my life.
An intense desire to participate in stereotypical games and hobbies of the opposite sex. And then finally, number 5, a strong preference for friends of the opposite sex.
It could just be, too, that your kid likes playing pretend. I mean, they might be trans, so pay attention and look for resources to help your kid if need be, but they might just like playing pretend. Pretending to be the mommy when they play house doesn't necessarily mean that your son is going to be gay or trans. It could just be that they like playing pretend. But even if these signs did mean your child were gay or your child was trans, stopping them from doing those things won't make them straight, won't make them cis. It just will make them sad.
Thank you.
What? What's your allergy, is it?
No, it's any foods which she feels could be vaguely homosexual. Couscous, Mary Rose sauce, wraps.
Yes, quite a few grains, apparently polenta, buckwheat, things like that, you know, but also mozzarella, baguettes, you know, things that gay people eat, and, you know, they've discovered there is a link.
I'll give you a practical thing. So I've got 2 girls and a son. And my son liked one of the princess dresses. It was yellow. And I don't know all the Disney princesses. I'd have to ask one of my daughters.
Come
They
on,
can
Jim.
tell me them all.
It's Belle. Obviously, it's Belle. But he knows that. He already admitted to banging dudes. I don't know why he's pretending to not know who Disney princesses are.
So, yeah, Sean, I'm going to get a fail on that test. I've probably been on all the rides at the park at Disneyland, but I don't know all the princesses. Anyway, so my son started wearing one of the yellow princess dresses, and it bothered me. And now my wife probably thinks I'm probably more sensitive than I need to be to this topic, but I did not like him putting on a dress. Those are for girls. And I told him that. I said, hey, buddy, boys don't wear dresses. Girls wear dresses. And I said, how about, you know what, buddy, what is this? What if I got you a fireman costume? And he got all excited, so I bought him a fireman costume. Now,
Yeah, nothing gay about firemen. With all the heat and the sweat and the muscles and the pulls. Nothing homoerotic about that at all. But no, dresses and playing pretend won't make your kids gay. And stopping them from doing it won't make your kids straight.
Marge, the boy was wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
So?
There's only 2 kinds of guys who wear those shirts. Gay guys and big fat party animals. And Bart doesn't look like a big fat party animal to me.
So if you wore a Hawaiian shirt, it wouldn't be gay.
Right. Thank you. I hope you realize this is all your fault. I mean, do you have to be so effeminate around a boy?
And, you know, let's face it, we don't understand all the dynamics of that whole sexual
Right. Science
thing,
doesn't even understand.
None of us understand that. But we
Okay then, so if you don't understand, don't talk confidently about shit that you don't fucking understand. That's dumb. That's stupid. That would lead you off the fucking cliff. Allow the people who know what the fuck you don't know to speak. Allow them to be the ones to lead. Allow them to be the ones to get the shit done, because y'all attempting to figure out is in this po piss ass Lawn Street job ass way is fucking everything up. And again, I am a gay man who is learning more about the queer community. I'm not buying strap-ons. I'm not fucking lesbians. I can still learn about somebody without having to be a part of that experience. It's called information so that I can show up better for them. That's the point. And on top of that, why is all these dinosaur-ass niggas always gotta have the last word, girl? Shouldn't you be trying to worry about being good so you can get into heaven? It's these goddamn Salisbury steak necked ass motherfuckers, girl. I'm glad he got his hair. That's nice hair, nice comb over. But still, And you've been on this, so let me guess. You've been able, just like that woman said earlier, that you've been able to understand the mind of God. I know God's heart. I know the all infinite, all knowing, all encompassing. You understand all of that. You understand the totality of that. But you can't understand simple pronouns. Somebody's lying here. Somebody's lying.
Do know that people do have
And it ain't
same-sex
me.
attraction, but that doesn't mean they have to live the lifestyle. You know, I mean, God calls us to a celibacy, whether we have those feelings or we have heterosexual feelings. We're called to celibacy before marriage. And God also has his definition of marriage too, and we all of that. And so that's why I think we're so disturbed, is because we know that this is not going to be for the good of the child. Anytime we're not doing what God laid out for us, it's not going to be good for them. And we all have temptations in one area or another.
Yeah.
You know, if you're heterosexual, you have temptations, you know, toward adultery and toward, as Jesus said, looking at a woman and lusting after her.
Right.
So whatever our feelings are, we all are tempted. But God wants to help us make the right decision and not follow the temptation.
So God makes people gay, or allows them to become gay, and then punishes them for acting out those feelings? Cool. Cool God alert.
And some people just have a natural inclination for same-sex
like that
attraction.
saying
They
that
can't
way of saying the
explain
boy
it. They
crazy.
didn't ask for it. They don't know why. They've tried to get rid of it. Now, understand this. Geneticists have clearly identified they've identified the genes and the chromosomes that affect a lot of our traits. Hair, eye color, skin color, height, even baldness. I think I have that one. But there is no genetic link to homosexuality. Trust me, if there was, you would know.
This is the problem with these people who appeal to science when it suits them. Somebody once said maybe there's a gay gene. They can't find that gay gene, so all of a sudden that means that people aren't born this way, as if the only way to be born some way is if there's a specific gene. There's also not a straight gene. It also doesn't really matter why a person is gay, or even if they did choose it. They didn't choose it. They are born that way. But even if they did choose it, that's up to them. We get to decide what we do with our bodies. And so it doesn't really matter what an angry preacher says about it.
And so I get it. And I think you're absolutely right. I think some parents become, I don't know that they even realize they've become indifferent, to the situation. But, I would say for any parent who is in this for, many, many years, maybe, consider, what if your child was an alcoholic? Would you become indifferent to that? There's still incredible dangers associated with the LGBTQ lifestyle.
I am prone to addiction. I had to go to rehab because it was really unhealthy, and it would have killed me eventually. But I also had to make that choice. It's still my body, and I still get to make those choices about my body.
I suppose there is something I should tell you. I'm not embarrassed about it, but I have to let you know. I'm an alcoholic.
Brilliant. I mean, no one drinks these days. Let's get a bottle of whiskey.
No, Toast, I'm a recovering alcoholic.
But being gay isn't damaging like being an alcoholic is. You can make bad choices when you're gay, just like you can make bad choices when you're straight. And a lot of the dangerous parts of being gay are the result of being kicked out of their houses by their Christian parents, or being ostracized by their community. And by saying that being gay is dangerous, therefore stop being gay, seems to imply some sort of conversion therapy or denying of who we are, and we know that that has been shown to lead to death.
There's other things going on. Like, I want to know if my kid, how old are they? They're coming out at what, 11 years old? Have they been sexually active? Why do they think they're gay? Have they been sexually active?
Hold on, nigga. Now y'all want to be aware about... nigga, I'm sorry. Well, he nigga in spirit. Hold on. You sitting here talking about, oh, is my child... So when your child is gay, you wonder why they're sexually active. But then when your child tells you, Dad, I'm attracted to girls and they're straight, there is this relief in you, and you even share the motherfucking paraphernalia with them. But just because your son is gay, now it's, oh, have they been sexually active? Shit is hilarious.
Have they been exposed to pornography online? This is a big red flag. Any kid at that age talking about those types of things, something's wrong.
So this is from a question he got about what he would do if his child came out as gay. No one said 11. He just assumed that age. But most kids have had crushes by the time they turn 11. Most kids know who they are attracted to by that age. You don't have to have sex with somebody to know if you are attracted to them. That is such a ridiculous statement from someone who also says to wait until marriage. Was he just waiting for his honeymoon, hoping he was straight, or had he figured it out by then?
Right? There's big issues going on. There's all kinds of things that I want to do, but I'm more deeply aware that these people don't care about me or my kid. They're just trying to lay a trap.
If you see the question, what would you do if your child comes out of the closet, as a trap, you should probably think twice about having children. Having a child who is gay, having a child who is trans is a possibility. And if you aren't willing to see that, then I don't think you should have kids. But that...
Oh, there's a point. If your ass ain't ready to comprehend whatever life throws at you through your fucking child, don't fucking have one. There are too many children right now in the foster care system because of y'all. There's a bunch of children walking around now who grown up into adults with trust issues with their fucking mothers and fathers because of y'all. So yeah, maybe you should work on your self-love, and if you're gonna have sex, put on a fucking condom.
That's just me. I think kids deserve love.
And parents, let me just throw this out, Sean. This is really critical. If your child decides to go to counseling, please make sure they're not only Christian, but you need to have a discussion with the counselor to find out what their views are on LGBTQ, because many people who...
So, instead of the therapist doing what the fuck therapy is supposed to do, to be able to help you face the objective fucking truth, help you to deal with that shit, grieve that shit, let that shit out, whatever the fuck needs to happen, be there with you in that fucking process by also allowing you to be accountable to push yourself through it, because all I can do is give you the tools. You got to put in the motherfucking work and put it into practice. Instead of actually doing the thing that would change their life, because they're on the outside looking in, they're not connected to this person, so they don't have any bias that's there. You rather that shit be overshadowed for the viewpoints on queerness, so that the parent ain't got to do shit, because the therapy is supposed to be about them, not you. But in therapy, there is a revelation of things and information being shared, and a lot of the information involves you as a parent. And that's why they want to silence the children, because if the children are not silent, if the children are open about what their experiences are with therapists, about the truth of the reality of what's going on, then again the system gets exposed, and the system can't have that. So they have individuals who I'm claiming is an ex-gay here. Again, I'm speaking ignorantly, girl, who looks like a gay Santa Claus girl. Girl can't even close his mouth. Sucking dick so much, girl, to cut it and close. And yes, it's Pride Month, so we going there. See, at this point, all you gotta really do is just look at shit and see it for yourself.
claim to be Christian, speak heresy and speak heretically contrary to Scripture, and guide children in a way that is not of the Lord. So I just want to give that kind of as a warning, just to be careful. Make sure you have that conversation. Should your child choose counseling, that you vetted the counselor, or it's come from a trusted person like Sean or myself.
If you're just gonna find a therapist who repeats what you say, what's the point? The reason most therapists won't try to make a kid straight or won't try to make a kid cis is because good therapists know that that doesn't work, and they know that it causes depression and suicide. At that point, you aren't looking for someone to help your kid, you are looking for someone to help you feel better about your terrible decisions.
Things that you do is to take them and to suddenly remove their identity from just their sexuality is a part of them, but it's not all of them.
Yeah, your sexuality is part of who you are. It's not all of who you are, but it is part of who you are. But when you are rejected by people for something that is a part of who you are, then you are going to gravitate to people who do accept you. And it's just nice to hang out with people who have common interests.
I wanted you both to know. Last night, at my home, my wife and I watched Brokeback Mountain. I didn't like it. But I watched it.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You are an ally. We'll see you at Pride. Yes.
Well, and it's the only thing that they've been able to identify that gave them a sense of value, because they found a group of people that had that same issue. And so that is how they view themselves, you know? That is their identity. And so so being able to take them into those deeper places of, hey, you know, God created you for a lot of different reasons. And he wants to bless you. You know, he gave you a lot of stuff for very good reasons. And so that's really healing for people.
Okay, so she's another ex-gay ministry person, so she knows that your sexuality is part of the complex mosaic that makes up a person. And she knows that she has other interests and skills besides being attracted to women. But also, this guy is straight, and by the way he is dressed and the way he's presenting himself, being a straight dude seems to be a big part of his personality. His clothing decisions and facial hair decisions seem to scream, I better let everybody know that I'm straight.
Searing of our conscience is what enables us to keep doing those things. And I think, you know, the other things that contribute to that are hanging around with people that are doing those things and they don't feel bad about it either.
No, it's true. She's right. Treating your kids like they are broken and need fixing requires searing your conscience. Completely agree. She's starting to see the light. She has a full organization with the aim of making other parents feel like it's okay to be garbage to their children because of how they interpret the Bible. So I guess good for her for admitting the problem and seeing where the issue is. Oh, no, it's the opposite.
So it makes it easier to suppress, you know, those feelings. And I think that's why a lot of Christian kids who have stepped into the LGBTQ lifestyle will, you know, totally cut off their families, because just being around their families is conviction, you know. Yes. And it's uncomfortable, and it feels like they're constantly being, you know, told they're guilty, even when we don't say it, you know, because we carry Christ with us, right?
No, they cut off family because they know that they don't deserve to be treated as less than or told they are sinners or deserve hell, and they are tired of constantly getting lectures about how they need to change who they are and how being themselves causes pain and heartbreak. They cut off family because they know they have value, and they know that they can set boundaries with people who can't see that value. Because Christian parents are given advice like this.
We received a very interesting letter and question recently, and this is it. My adult child just came out. In other words, declared to be a homosexual.
And notice, adult child. So this is not just about children. Never has been. That's just the first clarion call to rally against the queer community. But let's continue with his answer to this question about the adult child coming out of the closet.
What do I do? You know, the answer depends. If that adult child professes Christ, claims to be a Christian, then that becomes an issue for confrontation of the sternest and strongest kind, because that falls into Matthew 18. That's a sin for which you go to that person. If the person doesn't repent and turn, you take 2 or 3 witnesses and confront again. If there's still no repentance, you tell the church, and the church pursues. And if there's still no repentance, then there's a public putting out of the church of that person who professes to be a Christian. That's how you deal with that.
And that's
Did y'all hear that? Nothing about love, understanding, challenging oneself, understanding that if I'm going to be on my Christ shit, I'm going to be putting myself on a cross a lot in reference to my own thoughts to even see what's real. None of that. Basically, a blueprint, a flow sheet of what to do. And do you see how it starts off so small and now gets involved in the church? Again, one of the individuals that inspired me to walk in my truth was a YouTuber by the name of Miss Sarkaz. She is a Caribbean woman who is a lesbian. And she had a video, and I wish she had that video on her channel, because I would ask permission for her if I could end up doing a reaction to that. Because that video right there just really just opened it up for me. She had a video where she talked about how she was exposed, her sexuality was exposed. She was, of course, in the church, like a lot of people that of island descent are. All she knew was church homeschool, the same thing with me, church homeschool. And she loved singing in the choir. She loved, using her voice for God. And there was a choir rehearsal that she was at, and she was writing a play. She's a very creative person. And the play that she was writing involved a lesbian love scene. She never had sex before. This was just something that maybe she had seen throughout her life, or maybe her own imagination, or just her own visions, whatever the case may be, and she wrote it out. So she was writing out something that she never experienced. There was another woman that was older, mind you, that was, being inquisitive. Well, what you over there doing or whatever? And she said, I don't know what happened, but something told me to reveal to her what I was working on. And after she read, I guess, that segment with that love scene, she looked at her and said, I feel that way sometimes. Of course, they got in contact with each other. And because queer people have been so devoid of love, yes, when it comes down to sex, they're going to rush to it because that's a form of love to them, even though that love may not be a complete whole love. It's just something coming together. And again, that's not just a gay thing, that's a heterosexual thing, but in the context of queerness. Especially when you're trying to find, you've manifested somebody to explore with and try to figure out for yourself to see. But what happened was it was getting a little too hot, and the older lady got caught. Well, the older lady felt convicted in her spirit. I can't remember which one it was. But she ended up telling the pastor, and when Sarkaz went to the next choir rehearsal, they told her to sit in the pews. She had to stand, well, first of all, she had to stand up before the choir in the church. And again, profess their sins and to be redeemed, and told her it's either your salvation or your sexuality. It's either going to be you being gay or the church. Which one are you going to choose? That lady ended up ratting her out. That's why they want you to kill empathy, because if you were to watch that video, if I were to get permission or were able to get my hands, leprechaun hands, on the footage to show y'all the emotion that Sarkaz had to relive, girl, that was in her youth, but still sticks with her to this day. Imagine how many other adults that are queer feel the exact same way. Imagine how we feel as we see that little children are going to have to go down that same route, and unfortunately, a lot of them are not going to fucking make it. Y'all be so worried about one particular fold of sheep, you forget about all the other sheeps of different folds. And now the universe is calling y'all motherfuckers to the mat, and y'all are failing. So of course, just like I said with Homelander girl from The Boys, I would prefer to be loved, worshipped, adored. I would prefer all of that. But if you motherfuckers ain't gonna give me that, I'll just take the next best thing. And what you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, is that next best thing.
Exactly what John MacArthur did when he kicked out a woman from his church for divorcing her abusive, child-molesting husband.
On the other hand, if this adult child doesn't profess to be a Christian, then he or she is just acting like a non-Christian. That's a whole different issue. In the first case, if they profess to be a Christian, you have to alienate them. You have to separate them. You can't condone that. It's inconsistent with the profession of Christ. So you isolate them. You don't have a meal with them. You separate yourself from them. You turn them over to Satan, as it were, as Scripture says.
That guy sucks, right? Tip-to-tail piece of shit.
How are they going to respond if, you've got a loved one that's, in the lifestyle or has a partner? or significant other, and they said they are not allowed, your partner's not allowed over for Christmas or for Thanksgiving or any of the family celebrations, because what you're doing is not in line with Scripture and what God has called us to be in relationship with people. They said, you're welcome to come over. We want you to come over for Thanksgiving. We want you to come over for Christmas, Christmas Eve, go to church with us, but you cannot bring your partner. And I had told them, well, if that's how you're going to be, then you won't ever see me again. I'm not going to come over.
And just like they had boundaries where he wasn't allowed to bring his partner, he was also justified in saying, then you are saying no to a relationship with me as well. Just like the parents can say, be who I want you to be, or you aren't welcome, the child is allowed to say, accept me for who I am, or you're not welcome in my life.
Boom, bitch. Or as the Bible says, girl, y'all love throwing up that damn scripture. The Bible says to honor your mother and father so your days will be long. Yes, it did say that, but it also said, parents, don't provoke your children to wrath or anger. So you see how, despite you being the daddy and you grown, you still a human being and God is still God, bitch? You see how that works? Let's continue. We're almost done. Make sure you hit that like button. Shout out to y'all watching.
So now that your parents seen this on the other side, if one of your kids was in a similar kind of relationship, would you have the same boundaries or would you have different boundaries?
Sean, I think I'd have the exact same boundaries.
That's called the cycle of abuse.
They need us to be godly influences, and too many parents compromise that out of fear. I want to address what a lot of parents have been told or they've heard through social media, and that is, if you don't affirm your child, whether they're lesbian, gay, transgender, whatever, then your kids may kill themselves. And I want to say that is an absolute out-and-out lie from the pit of hell.
It's actually not a lie. It's a statistical fact.
It is just disturbing to see that there are so many LGBTQ young people between the ages of 13 and 24 nationwide who they talked to, 28,000 of them, and released this data today in their annual mental health report. The results show that an accepting environment and access to mental health services can truly be the difference between life and death. And those who I spoke with within the LGBTQ community say the data just doesn't surprise them.
I know so many people who have attempted, who have had suicidal thoughts. I think it's shocking, but I think it's the hard truth that everyone needs to know.
Alex Carroll.
And bitch, hold on. Because again, it's Pride Month, bitch, so I don't give a fuck right now. For Miss Carol Baskin to sit her ass up here talking about, girl, how queer people wanted to unalive themselves after admitting that they are queer and finally having to accept the reality and then realize that the reality that is happening is the one that's the scary one. Yes, they end up wanting to take their lives. She is saying that that is a lie out of the pits of hell. And that's funny that that's being said. And it's not just Pride Month, it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So if your mental health is trash, if your mental health is not good, your life, the quality of it, will not be fucking good. And guess what? Those resources to help those people when they can't go to the motherfucking church because the church gonna tell them hoes to choose between God or death, repent or perish, bitch. They have a lifeline like the Trevor Project Lifeline. Like all these self-deletion prevention hotlines that people take the motherfucking time out to do the one thing that a lot of you Christian people can't do, which is to sit and commune with them and listen to them without judgment, so you can rightfully discern without organized religion in your damn ear or that indoctrination in your damn ear saying some other shit. And guess what? This administration is getting rid of that. Getting rid of resources that can help save people's lives so that people can be left to their own detriment. And like y'all say, the devil loves an idle playground. And since y'all not walking in real, true, objective power and truth, y'all using again the next best thing, which is fear. You're removing all type of resources that can help other human beings. The same resources that Christ Jesus told you wealthy, rich bastards to give the fuck up and follow him ho and give it to the less fortunate bitch, y'all are majoring in what Christ minored in and have the nerve to call yourself Christian, girl. Well, since we're talking about all these damn spirits and all this type of confusion or whatever, I wonder what's gonna happen when that Judas spirit hits your feeling. And I'm talking about that Judas feeling, girl, when he sat at the table with the Messiah and the Messiah knew who the fuck the snake was and gave the snake a motherfucking turn, a chance to motherfucking make it right. And this nigga chose, the motherfucking church chose motherfucking government over truth, girl. And when the objective was signed, sealed, and delivered on Judas's behalf, what did he do next? What was the last thing that he did? I wonder how y'all motherfuckers gonna feel when y'all have y'all dark night of the soul, girl, and ain't no motherfucking self-deletion prevention hotline for you bitches. Like I said, for some of us that survived, you might want to talk to some of us very nice, because we gonna be the Harriet Tubman to help y'all get through the bullshit that we about to endure, bitch, because we been here. Y'all just got here. So I think it's smart that y'all ask questions to help understand. Because we gonna see how connected some of you hoes are to God, girl, when real destruction comes through. Let's finish this shit up. And we got Boss Man in the building. What's going on, pimpin'?
Carl has no shortage of stories about the mental health struggles within the LGBTQ youth community. 41% seriously thought about attempting suicide in the past year, according to a new study on mental health from the Trevor Project.
Her advice, and so much of the advice out there for Christian parents, is killing people. She counsels parents to do things that put their kids' lives in danger. And now she's on the internet putting more people's lives in danger because she doesn't want to entertain the idea that she might be wrong, because she's believed this since she was 9 years old.
Affirming them is not going to help the situation. It may make them feel better for a time. But, I tell parents, I said, if we as Christian parents compromise our faith for our kids, where do they have to come back to whenever they come out of this?
Yes.
They need to come back to the real deal, the real faith of Jesus Christ and what is true and based on his word. And if we compromise that, then we're basically telling them, I'm not who you thought I was. And, where are you going to go when you come out of it? And let me just say, too, people come out of this lifestyle all the time. I mean, you were one of them.
No, people don't come out of being gay. Some people hide it or suppress it, but they're still gay.
Guys, I'm here to convert you from being gay. You want to convert us? Yeah. You realize how insulting that is? How would you like it if I tried to convert you?
I wouldn't care, because that's like impossible. There's no way you guys could convert me to your lifestyle. Let's give it a shot. Well, I'm gay.
Girl, 5 minutes later. The time span of a lot of you niggas in the bedroom. So sad.
Yeah. No shit.
And number 3 is to love your child. Now, already I can hear some.
He trying to clock us already. But listen to how he gonna try to clear up us clocking him. Listen.
Liberals and some progressive Christians saying, amen, brother, that's exactly right. That's what I've been trying to say. They need to love. They need to love us. They need to accept us. No. Be careful, okay? Because we have to be careful how we define this word love.
Christians are the only people I know who have to define the word love so much. Imagine doing that with your partner. Every time they say they love you, they have to define what love is to explain why it doesn't seem like they love you, but they really do. That's not love.
Love does not mean acceptance. So when I say love your child, that does not mean that I'm saying that you have to accept your child the way they are and accept everything that they are doing, any more than if they were a child and they did something wrong and you just accepted it and you never told them about it and you never said anything about it and you never corrected them, you never disciplined them. That would not be love. You told your children that what they were doing is wrong when they were wrong as children because you loved them enough to say, I don't want you going out into the world and doing this and thinking that it's right, because I, as a parent who knows better than you, knows that if you do these things, it's only going to lead to your pain and your disaster.
Now, mind you, the same parents that are trying to prevent their children to say, I know more than you do, are the same motherfuckers, girl, that would get on panel with gay adults who live the experience, bitch, and really talk about being the victim, girl. Well, I know more than you. I told you I was on one particular platform for the first time, heart beating out my chest because I know how the fuck this shit gonna go, but I'm just having hope. I just believe that thing is gonna work the fuck out. And I said, before we go live, can we just admit that some of y'all are ignorant about queerness? That y'all don't really know as much as y'all claim y'all do? Can y'all at least admit that? Because if you could at least admit that, then maybe it will also change how the fuck I'm about to be in this damn conversation. Here I am again, the queer person, always trying to extend the olive branch, always trying to do what we can to make it comfortable for other motherfuckers who are uncomfortable by some dumb shit, girl, to make you feel comfortable. And you know what these motherfuckers said to me, girl? Oh, well, I know about homosexual. I know. As if though like it was a challenge. And we saw how that went. But I'm just saying, like, these are the same people who say that they know more, but then when the time comes for them to prove that they know more, girl, they're throwing up scriptures. Yes, we know that you memorized the book, bitch, but we're talking about the application of that shit in real life manifesting, ho. Can you show us that? Can you prove that to us? No. And no shade, can't no obese Christian ever tell me anything. You basically two people, so you basically sinning double, bitch. And I'm a leprechaun, so I'm sinning half because I'm short. Don't play with me. Let's continue.
We need to love our children enough to speak the truth in love and communicate to them as best we can as parents why what they're feeling and what they might be acting out on is against God's will.
But if they are expressing to you that they understand your point of view, but have done their own homework and don't believe that what they are doing is wrong or harmful, and you persist without letting them live their lives, you aren't loving them. You're being controlling. Love can't mean controlling other people's lives.
I hope not, but if this situation arises with someone you love, how do you truly love those who are living in sin? How do you truly love them? Not like the world says to respond, but in a way that God would approve of. Here's what you do. First, you keep showing kindness in your words and in your actions. It's God's kindness that leads us to repentance.
Again, a broken clock is right twice a day. He said one way that you can prove that is not just about what you say, but your actions. Notice he said that. Not just what you say, but your actions. Again, love will speak for itself. It will know the Spirit by the Spirit. And God always finishes. God always manifests. God always makes himself known because it was there in the beginning. Before the beginning was the beginning, girl. It's everywhere, girl. So it's there. But let's take a listen on how they interpret that further.
You continue to be loving in your words, gentle in your tone, warm in your affection. You can have dinners with them. You can spend time with them, right? You can communicate that I still love you. I love you. But two, at the same time, never compromise the truth. If you really love someone who's struggling with sin, you cannot compromise the truth because it's...
First of all, you're not even asking them questions that are organic enough to even see if it's a struggle. You're allowing these individuals who are these fake-ass Christians, girl, who getting paid, grifting like a bitch, trying to get money off of your ignorance, girl. You're listening to them. But then when you have the real bona fide homosexuals in your face, girl, everybody say they know a gay person. Everybody say they got a gay friend. Everybody say they know a gay relative, girl. But when y'all talk, obviously y'all not having conversations. Obviously that gay person is not talking to you or non-existent. Or obviously they are a self-loathing gay. But when it comes time to have conversation with other queer people, y'all bend under pressure, and the gay people ain't trying to bend you, especially me. Hell no. I already told you, some of these niggas, girl, I would choose death, bitch. Harakiri, girl. Right to the temple, the medulla oblongata, bitch. I ain't gonna feel shit.
The truth that sets them free.
And we know that he doesn't actually believe the kindness part.
I mean, I'm not going to your fake wedding. I'm not calling him your husband. Because he's not in God's eyes. I'm not playing along with the charade and using your fake pronouns.
He's really more sold on the speaking the truth part, or at least what he thinks is the truth.
But you have to decide who your greatest allegiance is to. At some point as a parent, you're gonna have to decide, am I more loyal to my child because I don't want to ruffle the feathers of that relationship? I want to keep the peace. And so therefore, I'm just going to be accepting. I'm just going to, ignore what it is that they're trying to bring into my home. I'm going to attend their gay wedding. I'm going to do all these things so I can maintain the relationship and the love and the peace between myself and my child. You have to, as a Christian, you are under obligation to say, you know what, I love my child, but I love my Savior more.
Then you don't love your child. If you choose something that we know hurts your child because you prioritize your religion over your child, then no, you don't love your child. Say if your religion told you to give your child poison Kool-Aid, the loving thing to do is to say, no, I love my child more than my religion.
But if we were to do our research, again, when we look at the dark ages of the church, and when little aspects like this happened in history, where people became more liberal, became more free, the system was losing control, they had to do things to put it back in order. But the church also said, and again, we've done lives on this, so again, I'm speaking from what I know, bitch. Okay? That if you want to bypass having to put in all the hard work, put in all the blood, sweat, tears, and the footwork, and toil into this damn ground, to skip all that shit, give your children to the church, and we will give you a pardon into heaven. Bitch, what? If you give your children to the church, you will be pardoned to be able to get into motherfucking heaven. You have enough power to be able to say that I can go talk to God and call him up on not just the main line, but the main line. Call him up. You better tell him what you want. Oh, call him up. Tell him what you want. I said. Call him up. All of that. And to say, God, this motherfucker done gave us a child. I need for you to go ahead and let Peter know that when his time come, which is going to be very soon, because we going to fuck all these niggas up, girl. We going to use up everybody. If you die early, girl, that's more money for us. But anyway, when he gets to heaven, I need for you to put his name in with Peter, girl, so that when he, or whoever is at the gate today, girl, because you know it's 2025, girl, it might be Sarah up there. Who knows? But whoever at the gate letting motherfuckers in, put his name in, because they didn't, and put his wife's name in too, because they didn't gave us the children for the church. So you have that power, but yet you can't do no real miraculous shit. Like I said, ending world hunger, homelessness, the violent epidemic, the gang wars, all that shit could be solved with love, and love to use in righteous ways where people can live harmonious. But again, there are certain people who believe that that is not a reality, that can never fucking happen. Even though there are other countries in the world who live the reality, or live the actual manifestation of the dream that America says that it is. It's a lie. That's why they hate wokeness, because when you woke, you're not participating in the dream. You're not doing what we do. You're not. The system is alarming itself. It's waking itself up, and again, it has a fail-safe. Get it to destroy itself, not to complete destruction. Let it be destroyed enough to where now we can come in as the saviors to this mess, and also change up history and rewrite it to say that we saved it. But see, y'all be loving to rewrite history until the universe give you a crazy ass woman like the bitch from goddamn what's the name of that movie, girl, when she broke that nigga foot girl, misery, until you meet a crazy ass bitch, girl, who love all your books. I've read all the interpretations. I know them all by fucking heart. Oh my God, I love when you're coming out with a new one, girl. And they start paying attention to your shit, bitch. Now you feel some type of way. You can't kill them, girl, because they memorized all your books. They're crazy. You're gonna have to come with more than that. Then you're gonna feel some type of way. See, this is the other aspect of love that they don't talk about. And they kind of talk about it somewhat in reference to, accountability and judgment. Yes, there will come a time where there will be a gnashing of teeth. And again, that's up to interpretation. But there will come a time where everybody gonna have to be accountable. And again, make sure y'all read the book and purchase the book, Blame It on the Dress, The Manufacturing of Black Homophobia and Performative Masculinity. Because a lot of the things that I've been commentating on these past few months, after I read the book, I see it so much. It kind of already validates the path that I was on, but all it did was really enhance it, because now I get to show you other elements and aspects of BubzDaGawd that other motherfuckers thought that was not there. Because for some people, all I do is speak about queerness, girl. And not only am I gonna speak about it, girl, I'm about to bring it into reality and manifestation through dramatization too, bitch. And I know you're watching, so continue. I hope you learned something and actually show you what it really looks like as far as the mirror experience. And be glad that I put my mirror experiences into my projects, because the mirror experience is about to jump off the motherfucking screen in real life for everybody. So be grateful that there is a BubzDaGawd that is creating and manifesting in such a way to help certain motherfuckers understand. And the fact that y'all still watch and still subscribe, so much to the point that you don't even subscribe under a fake account, girl. You subscribe underneath the real account, girl. That's when you know you flowing your shit, when a motherfucker subscribe to you for real with the name, girl. Your shit. And I hope you're learning, not just trying to decipher information, or maybe you are secretly learning. And if you are, I hope so. Maybe the hair will grow back. And girl, I could throw so much shade right now because the spiritual eunuch in me, girl, is download so much information from the goddamn resources, girl. I might say some shit, girl, and the motherfucker be at my door. And I hope not, bitch, because I'm short. Call me Kevin from Home Alone, bitch. I got traps all over this bitch. No shade. But anyway, y'all, let's continue because we almost done. We got 9 minutes left of this video. I done turned a video that was an hour and transmuted that bitch into almost 3 hours and 30 minutes of content. And I told y'all I love y'all and I fuck with y'all, so I'm gonna do that for y'all. So with that being said, make sure you hit that like button. Help this channel grow on the algorithms. We are at 913 from what I've last seen. Okay, if you like the vibe here, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Okay, again, the like button. If there's anything in this commentary that I'm saying that resonates with you, that triggers you, that you feel will be a good talking point for your podcast, your perspective, girl, whether you agree or disagree, BubzDaGawd gives you permission to use my content. And not even just this live, any content on my platform, I give you permission to use. The only thing that I ask, and it's so small, is that you at me at it, BubzDaGawd, so that I know it's real. And again, for those who feel compelled in their spirit to be like, girl, that nigga is fucking sailing off that weed in such a way, girl, let me go here, here, Bubs, here go CashApp for another 3.5, girl. It's Pride Month, girl. Sponsor a homosexual for this month, girl. Trump destroying everything, girl. If I'm your favorite homosexual, girl, sponsor me. Send me something, no shade, because all that really goes back into the investment of what I want to do. No shade. I'm upgrading things, as you can see. I'm believing in my damn self. I don't give a fuck who the president is, bitch. I'm the president of BubzDaGawd, and what I say go in my shit. Do you feel me? So do what you do, but just do something. I appreciate that. Let's continue. Baby, this munchie is kicking my ass.
I love my son, but I love my Jesus more. I love my daughter, but I love the Lord who gave his life for me more.
I love the guy who gave up his life for me for a couple days 2,000 years ago more than my kid. So much so that I'm willing to let them die for him.
And why is it hard for these kids to get some help? Well, Ben, you know, for a variety of reasons, according to the Trevor Project, in fact, they found out the top 3 reasons why through a survey, and those are fear of disgusting mental health, not getting permission from parents or guardians, or just the fear of not being taken seriously. And, you know, these numbers are very eye-opening. You know, this nonprofit is the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for the LGBTQ community. Their annual survey found that 73% of LGBTQ youth reported experiencing symptoms of anxiety. Another 58% reported experiencing symptoms of depression. Now, thoughts of suicide are extremely high, the nonprofit notes, but LGBTQ youth who live in a community that are accepting report significantly lower rates of attempting suicide than those who do not. Now, in communities that are less accepting, they turn to queer spaces and performers to feel accepted and not alone.
You see, the Bible says this in Matthew chapter 10. It says, "Don't imagine that I came to bring peace to the earth. I came not to bring peace, but a sword." See, Jesus says, my main focus when I came to the earth was not just to bring peace. He says, I know that when I'm coming to the earth, it's going to create friction. My presence is going to create tension. It's going to cause war. It's going to cause people.
I'm sorry, my intrusive thought is kicking in. I know Deshaun is appreciative of that goddamn force and friction, especially with this damn oil you trying to send. It's not the oil. It's not, now behold the Lamb. There's going to be the oil of God, girl, to rub down and break down muscle tissues and open up holes, girl. Help us, Lord. Help us.
People to have to pull up their sword and want to go at war with each other, because what I'm bringing in the principles of the kingdom are going to go diametrically opposed to what people ultimately want to do in their flesh. And as a result, sometimes this is going to pit even the closest relationships against one another. And Jesus goes on to say this. He says, I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Your enemies will be right in your own household.
And that's why we know that this isn't a religion of love or peace or hope in Christ. It's a religion about death. It's a religion of fear. It's about stabbing someone in the back because of who they are, about loving someone until they disagree with you or until they live a life different than yours.
And if you suspect as a parent or as a family member that this standing on what is true might bring conflict and tension into the relationship, you're right. It probably will. And Jesus told us to expect that. In Matthew 10, Jesus said, don't imagine that I came to bring peace to the earth. I came not to bring peace, but a sword. And he's not talking about wanting Christians to wage holy wars like the Muslims. He's talking about creating conflict and division.
Like the Muslims. Yeah, I don't think Christians can hide behind that anymore. If you support what Israel is doing in Gaza, like so many Christians are doing, including sending money and support, you don't get to pretend that Christians don't love violence, and you don't get to pretend that Christians don't believe in holy war.
Israel is fighting a just war. They are waging a just war. I won't go through all the details of what makes a war just, but the Bible describes just war. And there are times when it is holy and it is acceptable and it is righteous. It is not pleasing, it's not the ideal, but it's okay. It's blessed by God to wage a just war against evil. And the Hamas and the people of Hamas are evil. So Israel is justified in going to the war. Israel is justified in destroying Hamas. And you need to, right? He says, I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Your enemies will be right in your own household. If you love your father or mother more than you love me, you're not worthy of being mine. This is what Jesus said. If you love your son or daughter more than me, you are not worthy of being mine. I'm just telling you what Jesus said. To compromise on God's word, to preserve a relationship with someone living in sin, is loving that person more than Jesus.
Yeah, but there's also a reason most Christians ignore this passage and explain it away.
That, my friend, hurts because you love your child. As I mentioned earlier, this is the same child that you held in your arms and had all these hopes and dreams for. Every part of your body, every fiber of your being is going to want to just do whatever you gotta do to maintain this feeling of love and peace and joy with your child. But at some point as a Christian, you have got to take this verse. You've got to come to grips with this verse and say, you know what? This verse clearly says that if I love my children more than I love God, I'm not worthy to be a disciple.
Then I love the unworthy. When your religion tells you to hate your child.
And that is crazy. These are the same people. That's why I'm going to read the fuck out of y'all bitches during Pride, girl. If you think what I'm saying is something, girl, wait till my project drop, girl. Oh, girl. Anyway, y'all sitting here saying that you shouldn't offer that type of love or that you just choose God over these people, girl. But then when Christ came through, he loved the unworthy, the same people who were the lepers, the ones who were blind, who were sick, who were deaf, who were dumb, who were dead. All these things that were rejected by societies and the Pharisees and Sadducees who've happened to get in positions of power again, hoping they get it right this time. Bitch, girl, I'm gagging for y'all. Girl, we may know what the fuck y'all gonna do, girl, but y'all know what the fuck gonna happen to y'all, and that's the most scary, bitch. But no shade, girl, like. I had to stop and pause for a moment and lose my damn thought, girl, because trying to understand this shit is literally making my head hurt as far as the logic. But again, I'm not no fear-based ass nigga or trying to grow to be more of a fearless ass nigga, girl, as I live this life known as BubzDaGawd, girl. Christ was different, but again, we're seeing who's walking in, as Boss Man would say in one of his lives. Shout out to him. Make sure y'all subscribe to him as well. There are Christians that are Jesus Christ, love consciousness Christians, and then there are the Paul spirited Christians, the one that believe that the law is God. But that's why they want to eradicate people they cannot control, because if you can't control them, especially those with the cardinal sins, girl, again, the faith falls apart, and they can't have that, because if the faith falls apart this time, I don't think they're going to be able to recover, which is why they're willing to go ahead with the blood magic and blood sacrifice, girl, as far as the slaughtering of its own citizens that we unfortunately are going to see. And I'm going to say this before this wraps up, no shade. I had a dream last night. It's the only aspect of the dream that I remember. I remember I was in my room and I just heard a bunch of noise. I was like, bitch, is Lorianne Gibson over there voguing with the homosexuals, girl? Because, you know, she come with the boom cat and the gays are vogue. I got owl, girl. It would just sound like God was voguing in the sky with thunders and shit. I look outside the window, girl. I see nothing but just smoke and fire. I hear people screaming, girl. I see helicopters flying around. I thought I saw a fucking big ass aircraft in the sky. I'm like, girl, what the fuck is this shit? Then my sister, her fiance, I hear them at my door talking about, Bubs, you hear that? You hear that? And I say, come up here and look out the window. They looked out the window and turned around terrified, and then I woke up. Again, I want to be wrong about all this shit. I told y'all, if my ass is objectively wrong, girl, I would delete all my shit, girl, and read Bible verses. I would play y'all game, girl. I would do all of that. But again, if there's nothing new under the sun, because hoes love being comfortable in their cycles. Of course, when change comes through and objectivity comes through and accountability comes through, that feels like an attack, especially when you're privileged. But all this do is reminding you, just like you reminded us, that we ain't special and we ain't unique, girl. Neither are y'all, because at the end of the day, regardless of whatever you believe or whatever title or religion or belief you hide behind, girl, one thing that is true is that we are all human beings. And until you hoes can tell death to behave, until you're motherfucking ready and have enough power and awareness to do it for other people as well, sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and try to learn to be your best self. That's probably the best thing to do. Let's continue. We're almost done.
Then you ditch the religion, or you never claim to be a parent again.
Following Jesus will cost you. It might create division, even in your family, sometimes in your own household. But a born-again Christian says, I have decided to follow Jesus. Though none go with me, still I will follow.
And they wonder why their children won't talk to them.
The things I tell my parents to do in every group that I lead is put a note on your bathroom mirror where you'll see it every day with 2 words, thank you. And when you see that, what you're looking forward to is the day when your child comes out of this, where that's our hope, right? Is that our kids will come out of this lifestyle and they will say, thank you, Mom and Dad, for not compromising your faith, for not going along with that nonsense, for not affirming me in it. Because, we do have influence. And when we don't go along with it, there's that unseen but very felt conflict there and conviction. So I'd say put that note on your mirror and leave it there, because someday,
Yes.
I mean, that is our hope, is that our kids will come back and say, thank you for not doing what the world did.
So it doesn't matter what your kids say now and what so many people are telling their parents and other family members. It doesn't matter what the data shows, what's statistically more likely to happen if you treat your child this way. What matters is 2 words you hope they say one day. Last year I did a video about why the Bible is definitely pro-slavery. I went through and talked about all the excuses people give to why the Bible isn't pro-slavery and explained why those excuses don't actually hold up and simply contradict what the scriptures actually say. But even though I addressed all those excuses, I still get people using these same excuses in the comments of the video where I explained why those excuses don't work. Because they didn't watch the video and just assumed that I missed this one. People used to be fine with the Bible being pro-slavery for a very long time because society was fine with slavery. But as societal shifts happened, people needed to make arguments to why the Bible isn't pro-slavery. The same thing has happened as women get more rights. People find historical context and textual context to explain why the Bible actually isn't super sexist and doesn't tell women to be silent and doesn't list women with property. And I know this because I use those excuses. And I also used excuses about why it is okay to be gay. In my last few years as being a Christian, I was a very pro-LGBTQ person. I still am, I'm just not a Christian anymore. And that upsets some people. But many Christians are finding excuses to why the Bible isn't homophobic. And now we have affirming churches with gay pastors. And that's great. And as society continues to shift, more and more people will adapt to this new acceptance. And it will get better for children of Christian parents because the Christian parents will already be accepting. And we already see this happening. But just like I get comments explaining why slavery isn't actually that bad, or some pastors will say that slavery isn't actually that bad, this may never completely die out. There will always be a need for loving and welcoming communities for people who have been rejected by their families, and we will always need to get that message out there that you are not broken and you deserve love. It is not your fault that being who you are made your parents sad or made your family members sad. It's their fault. It's their church's fault. It's the fault of people who put out garbage in the world like we saw today. Parents, hold your kids tight and tell them you love them. If your parents have been awesome, let them know how awesome they've been.
All right, y'all, that was the video. Again, that is, believe it or not, make sure you go subscribe to him on YouTube. Awesome content. He just said something about a video he did about how a lot of Christians use the Bible to explain or try to explain away slavery, you know what I'm saying, or justify it in the name of the Lord. So if you are interested in that, make sure you check that out. Y'all, my fucking munch is kicking in. I gotta find something to eat, bitch. No shade. I gave y'all 3 hours and a half worth of content. But don't worry, make sure y'all stay tuned because, again, I'm dropping my project very soon. I'm still waiting on certain things to come in. But I will be dropping the Prelude trailer this week coming up. There are 2 of them, so they will be getting dropped. I'm just having to work out some of the audio issues and some of the visual aspects because there was one direction that I was going in, and it became something different. And that's how God works, bitch. Damn, like you have an idea of what you're going to do, and then something comes through and changes it up and puts you in a different perspective or a different path that supersedes what it is that you thought before. And that's what I'm learning in my life. So just make sure y'all stay tuned. I appreciate y'all coming in. Shout out to King Deshaun, who is the MVP of the chat. I'm going to start doing that every live, the MVP of the chat, girl, because I want y'all to engage with me in the comment sections if you're able to. That is, I want to talk to y'all. I want to hear y'all perspectives. Yes, I'm the one talking, but I don't want to be the only one talking as far as just I'm talking audibly, But as far as the communication aspect, I want y'all to communicate with me, okay? So again, shout out to the subbies, the new subbies. I appreciate you. We are on the road to 1K. We are less than 100 subscribers away, bitch. And if we can get this shit done before my birthday on the 22nd, that shit will be awesome. So thank y'all. But yes, make sure you hit that like button. It helps the channel to grow in the algorithms. Again, road to 1K. If you like the vibe over here, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my content, both live and my Blame It on the Dress thing. Again, shout out to the Black Anarchist podcast. You can purchase the book Blame It on the Dress, okay, the manufacturing of Black homophobia and performative masculinity, by clicking the link down below, okay? If you like my content and you want to share it or give your own commentary, like I said, do what you do. Just make sure you tag me, BubzDaGawd, at this so I know it's real. And if you're a real ass nigga, you'll do that. And if not, I'll find out, bitch. I'm a leprechaun. And again, if you feel compelled, you can definitely hit a nigga up in the Cash App, $ BubzDaGawd girl. And this regime girl, walking in your truth is going to cost you your damn life. So you want to make sure that BubzDaGawd can keep smoking his 3.5s, girl, until whatever the universe have. I hope there's more as far as these 4 years. But if it's just it, girl, you can contribute to the platform, okay? $ BubzDaGawd. We take everything that jingles and folds, okay? Bub's eye is alert and awake. He plotting something. What you mean? What you mean? Y'all, what y'all studying my eyes for? I'm just playing. But again, shout out to, let me grab my other phone so I can do this. Shout out again to King Deshaun, MVP of the chat. Shout out to T for T. Make sure y'all subscribe to him. He is getting boots on the ground at these protests. If you want to see what's going on for yourself as far as his perspective, head over there and subscribe. Shout out to Queen Stevie. Make sure that you subscribe to her as well and follow her on Instagram. She is interviewing somebody every day. Homegirl is coming for Barbara Streisand. What's the other? Barbara Walters. Barbara Bush. Barbara Walters wig, girl. She coming for it. And she gonna look way better in it than Barbara does. No shade. Shout out to her. Astroglide. All right. Shout out to Extra Smoke Dragon. It's been a minute. And like I said, pimping, I'm smoking on blue raspberries from Good Life Infusion. Okay, infusions. And again, I'm going to manifest some marijuana deals on this platform, bitch. Okay, hello, bitch. No shade. So shout out to Extra Smoke Dragon. Shout out to, again, the Black Anarchist podcast book in the description box below. Shout out to Boy Crazy for being in the building. Shout out to, of course, The Objective is podcast with Boss Man. Always good to have you in the building, pimping. Shout out to, let me see, make sure I get everybody. I'm scrolling. Baby, Deshaun was dominating the chat, girl. I'm afraid he get his hands on some damn oil. Shout out to Miranda, the disciple. If you're still here, I thank you for being here, and I hope the next time you will contribute to the chat more. You know, maybe you can give Deshaun a run for his money. No shade, especially if you're gonna call it out. Just go ahead and show him. Let's see. I think that's everybody. No, Queen Spicy, Kimani's Way. Shout out to Joe who said false gospel, girl. He came through and said what he said and hit it. Who else we got? Let's see. I think that's everybody. No, Medusa. Shout out to Medusa. Okay, we ain't talking about the one that turn you into stone. Okay, shout out to everybody. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Andrew Shatler says, why you smoke weed? There's many reasons, but I'll give you a few. The most important one is I'm grown. That's one. Two, Mother Marijuana helped save my life and open myself up to my habitual ways that were harming me. Okay. Another reason is because the world is crazy as fuck, and to make sure that I don't let a lot of people's vibes affect me and fuck up my shit, that's like a barrier to where I can go ahead and really kind of deal with things objectively and not too emotionally or too empathetically, because at the end of the day, I gotta learn how to love my damn self. You feel me? So, and there are other ways as well. Andrew says, bro, it's not late to turn around because what you teach and live in is sin. Isn't right, bro. And Andrew Shatler, I thank you for your opinion, your perspective. And it's very interesting that, no shade, these individuals come in towards the end of lives. I wish that you all were here during the 3 hours and almost 40 minutes worth of live, so you could have sat here and told me what you believe is that, but I'm pretty sure what you would say is exactly what we explained here. And that is also the problem with Christianity. Y'all come in on the tail end of things knowing that you know all this stuff, but yet you know nothing about me. If you knew if you were connected to something that is all-knowing, you wouldn't have to ask me, why do I smoke weed? You would have told me why I smoke weed. You would have been able to break it down for me, and I never spoke to you. That would have hit my spirit, because that's how the spirit works. But I thank you, Andrew, for sharing your perspective, and I hope that comes from a place of love and not a place of repent or die, because if that's the case, I guess I'm going to die. I'd rather die free than die a slave. My ancestors worked too hard for that not to be the case. Okay. So thank you, Andrew, and hopefully you come back, subscribe, because, you know, I do lives. I have content that you can definitely go back and garner if you want to. If you really want to learn more about BubzDaGawd and why BubzDaGawd smokes weed, and maybe get information on how you can conform or transform BubzDaGawd so you can get a check mark on your I'm going to heaven card, the opportunity is there. And this is the time for y'all to walk it out. I respect that, bro. I love, man. There is no way. Understandable. And I thank you for that. I really do. I'm just letting you know and other people know that even though you can share that perspective, I'd rather, okay, let's take it in that context. If that is the respect aspect, then hopefully you will stay. Then hopefully you will subscribe. Then hopefully you will learn to get more about this person so you can deepen that respect. No shade. And I'm not even going to say bye, because at this point, I'm not pushing anybody away. Because my content, I want to be able to have the real conversations for real. Not like how some people say, and then when they come on their platform, girl, they freeze the fuck up and don't say shit. I want to be able to have real conversations with people. So again, Andrew, if you really want to commit to this, as far as trying to get to know or to implement Christ energy or love here on this platform with BubzDaGawd, then I'm giving you the opportunity. Hit that subscribe button. Go through my content. Try the spirit by looking at the content and see what's going on. But all I ask is that in the midst of that, just like you're proposing something to me, I propose something to you. I ask that you please look at my content with the open mind and the love that you say that you walk in and the respect. Let's put that into action. So I'm calling you to the mat just like you're calling me. And again, we're all being called to the mat. So again, if you can see something in my blind spot that I can't see, I appreciate that, but understand it's going to be a mirror experience. Okay? But anyway, I'm out. I'm about to enjoy the rest of my evening. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday. Again, the Cash App is $BubzDaGawd. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Love every single one of y'all. Roll to 1K. Stay tuned. I'm out. Peace.
I can be anything I choose in this round. We are a sound vibration too deep to tell. Just so you know, I'm the best in the motherfucking world.
Formed against me shall prosper. Oh, it won't work. No weapon formed against me. Give me that ad lib again. No weapon. One more time. No weapon. One more time. No weapon. Bitch. Who the fuck y'all hoes? Okay, the facts are back, bitch. So who the fuck y'all hoes think it was, bitch, or what time of day it was? Okay.
You gotta understand that this is a community-based project. We're not getting any funding from the government. I seen bitches out there talking about, wait till Trump hears about this. Trump can suck my dick.
Bitch.